You mind?
We'll pass it along.
Here.
I'm gonna finish that.
Alrighty, we are moving. We are firing. Yeah, we'll shut that door. Thanks,
you.
buddy. Are you a coffee guy or no?
I had some matcha this morning.
A matcha this
Matcha.
morning. Nice.
Matcha tea, eventually. A little bit less kind of violent to the body, I guess. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Coffee can be very harsh on the system. You know, when you drink a lot of it, and or the quality of it. You know, I can get into it for forever, but
I might need more of that because I drink it every day.
Yeah, we might want to get into that for Dylan.
I mean, we could get into that conversation. So we'll keep everything for the podcast, whatever.
Beautiful. I like that. Rhino already knows what he's doing.
We're on now. So.
Alrighty, we are back in the Temecula house. Thank you for joining us. We are joined by legendary RYNO Hughes today. We've wanted to get you in for a long time, Rhino. I talked to you about getting you in literally right when we first started doing this. And your humble self said you were down. It was just timing thing. It took a damn year to make it happen. But
people hang around me, they know it takes a while to get me to do stuff. I go on my own rhythm, you know, my own time. So sometimes people think I'm not interested in it or lazier, but just it's a timing thing for me. Whenever it's time, then it's good. But if you have to rush it or push it or force it, then sometimes things come out incorrectly. You know?
100%.
Yeah.
Well, I think I don't think many people are calling you lazy, or at least from what I've heard.
Well, I guess with other things in my life, I'm like, I just, you know, a lot of stuff I kind of push off, you know what I mean? Because I just love to do what makes me feel happy, you know, what I love to do. That's really the only thing I've ever done in my life is chase what I love and chase what makes me feel good.
Yep.
You know, I don't care the money, I don't care the fame, I don't care the job or the recognition. If I don't love it and it's not fun, then I don't fucking do it. You know,
Hell yeah.
Plain and simple. Because why?
Yeah.
You know, everything that you are doing for fictitious reasons or for egotistical reasons or whatever it is, you pretty much have to give back. But you never can give back what you love. You don't have to give back what you love and when you have fun. You know.
Yeah, 100%.
Those are memories. Those are experiences. Those are kind of you know, it's like in your DNA. But you know, I guess material things are just kind of fictitious, right? It's always the next. So, you know, I've known myself not to get caught up in that side of it. I've got caught up in other sides of it, but just not with the kind of the thing and the fame stuff, you know?
Yeah, 100%. This is going to be a good episode of the Insiders Podcast. I can already tell. Rhino's a good talker, so I'm always excited for people that are, you know, able to actually hold a good conversation when they come in here. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do that. It goes a long way for us. Yeah, I mean, fuck, there's so many places we could start with you right now.
Start with one, it leads to another.
I think a lot of the, you know, taking forever to get you in here is you've been dealing with some shit yourself.
Yeah.
So let's get into some of the injuries that you've had to deal with, because honestly I hate even bringing it up for you because it's probably a shitty thing to think about all the time, but I mean the way you handle shit is just so next level compared to everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my whole career has been kind of, or my life has been pretty violent. You know, it's been a lot of trauma in it through a lot of injuries, you know, through my career. Did I try harder than most? Did I train harder than most? Did I want it more than most? Did I have more speed than most? Yeah. But mine was just littered with injuries. And for what? I don't know why. You know what I mean? I'll get to why I think so later. But just, I think, you know, in my whole life, I've broken over 28 bones. I've had 27 surgeries. You know, I've done like 14 ribs, you know, 3 lungs, liver. Now I have 4 plates, 3, you know, what do I got? Yeah. No, 4 plates, 4 rods. 33 screws in my body. Yeah, I've been knocked out 20 times. Been paralyzed. Went through, you know, the symptoms of being paralyzed, and for like 4 times now.
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah. And so it's it's been brutal. But I feel, you know, what would I rather have? You know, what would I rather have for the rest of my life. 5 number 1 plates that are on the wall that are getting dusty that nobody can see unless they come to that room or that house, or to have the experience and the ability to share my experiences with the whole world for the rest of my life.
Yep.
This sport for the rest of my life. I will take number 2 because to me that has more weight to it than just number 1 plates that are collecting dust. I still got to remember that I raced.
Right.
I have a little trophy room that I just collect. I save some stuff, and I walk in there. I'm like, oh yeah,
Forgot about
shit,
that.
Yeah, I guess I was pretty good. Just because it's done. If
Right.
you're looking at life at 50, as you did at 25, well, you missed the fucker, right? And so in April I'll be 50, and crazy, I'll be 50 years old, and I have a wealth of knowledge, experience, that I can share with the world, and to me that's more than number 1 plates. What I mean? It really is.
Yeah, 100%.
And so
You're giving back. You're always giving back.
So that's did I want to win number 1 plate? Did I want to win a championship? Yeah, I gave my life to it. I would have died for it, but it just didn't happen. So wipe the hands, move on. You know what I mean?
Right.
No regret. I gave everything I could possibly give to achieve that goal, that dream. But life had something else in store, and with how many people, that I've kind of helped or motivated or changed direction. I mean, shit, it's hundreds. So that's pretty rewarding to me.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot that we're going to get into on this, but I think, at least from an outside standpoint, a long time ago, I think a lot of people thought that, some of your opinions were a bit controversial. And you have strong opinions, which is one of the things I love about you, is when you say something, there's no bullshit with you.
You mean
when
it, you don't
say
give a
something,
fuck.
you mean it.
I stand behind it, because again, everybody wants to say that, but it's funny how it's come full circle now.
That's where I was going.
Nobody can doubt me now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it came from just logical thinking. That's it.
Right.
I thought simply, everybody's trying to be too fucking smart. Too smart. And
Is that what it, in your opinion, do you think that's what it was with, like, again, that's where I was going to go with it was, everybody sort of thought that your opinions were so controversial with, the neck brace thing and then the knee brace thing. And then it comes back full circle where basically exactly what you just said, Marvin Musquin.
That was one of my favorites.
Literally
That was
starts
funny.
clocking way faster lap times after he takes it off. And then people are like, oh, maybe RYNO isn't crazy.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing is it's not, the funny thing is it's not crazy. It's like,
Right.
where am I coming up with something that isn't logical? Okay? If the body was designed a certain way to work at its optimum, well, how can you limit that? That's like saying, okay, the motorcycle was built this way, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to put the rear in the front and the front in the rear and do this. No, you can't go away from the design of the motorcycle. You know what I'm saying? It's like the motorcycle's been, the design of it logically has been the same since day one. Front wheel, engine, handlebars, rear wheel. Of course, technology has changed it. But that idea has been the same.
Yeah.
And you can't change that idea. You can't put the engine in the back and you can't do it. So it's the same thing with the body. The body's been designed to be at its best in one position. And when you immobilize it, well, you're always going to limit it. You know what I mean? What you don't use, you lose. And so when you're wearing something at such a high level that's causing you to be in such a unfunctional position, that's causing you to almost be more dangerous on the motorcycle, well, that's all I'm looking at.
Right.
You can bring me all the scientific knowledge you want about after the crash has happened. Okay, cool, I get you. But we have no control of how the crash is going to happen after we've already made that mistake to crash. But before that crash has happened, well, where you're at on the motorcycle is the utmost important thing at any point on riding a motorcycle, is that position. Because now you take the one in 100 mistakes to crashes, and you put yourself in a bad position, an unfunctional position, a weak position. Well, now you made it 1 in 10, and it's 100%. And there's not a person that didn't take it off that didn't feel better.
100%.
And so
you could literally
it was
see
designed. It was designed. I mean, and then the thing is nobody even looked at it, because again, our sport has blinders on, because it makes the decisions out of fear. I don't make my decisions out of fear. I make my decisions out of logical thinking or efficiency. And so when you look at this first neck brace that came out, and it had a carbon fiber strut that was 2 inches wide that had no movement to it, resting on your fucking spine. Well, what kind of idiot would think that that's safe if I'm trying to protect my spine?
Yeah, not a lot of logic
It's resting right on it with no movement. I mean, that's just illogical.
Yeah.
So these things like that, it's like, well, you kind of just got to look at it. And once you explain everything, just because you can't lock something up at the highest point, especially in motocross, you have to have that flow. It's almost like a tree. But then you get to the knee braces. Well, I didn't design the body to have 30 to 40% of interior and exterior rotation at the knees. That's huge, right there at the seat. That's massive. And so again, then when you put knee braces on, well, now you're going to be bending at the hips. You're always going to be counterbalancing it a little bit. Everybody says, oh, well, all the top guys wear them. Okay, well, let's go back 20 years and look at any rider that's ever hurt their knee. What did they have on? Knee braces.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, back in the day, knee injuries didn't seem that common.
Not as like it is, because, again, what you don't use, you lose. So when you're wearing a knee brace, your knee doesn't have to stabilize itself anymore. It doesn't really have to do the work that it normally does. And you're going to be less efficient because, again, what sport on earth wears knee braces? The only ones are like maybe football, the linemen. But the hardest sport on your knees, called downhill skiing, they can't wear knee braces unless they have a knee that's completely blown out.
Right.
Now, if you have a knee that's completely blown out and you can't do anything about it, cool. But do not put knee braces on kids. Don't already start it. Because there's not a single person that I've ever talked to about knee braces, and they went to knee pads that did not come back and say, "Oh my God, dude! Oh my God!" And
yep, I did it. I did it too. And one of your biggest points was feeling.
Yeah,
you can feel everything versus a knee brace. You can't feel anything, and even when you squeeze the bike, there's like an inch of material between you and the bike.
Yeah, so
you can't feel shit.
Yeah, but you're away from it. You know what I mean? And then you don't have any movement there. That's so important. Every joint, so just like the motorcycle, everything on that motorcycle has to move to its true potential to ride the motorcycle's
How
true
it's
potential.
designed to.
If you took out 30-40% of any movement at the clutch, gas, brake, suspension, well, you would never ride that bike to its true potential. So again, same with the body. It's bullshit. Don't tell me it's wrong when the body's been designed this way millions of years ago and it, in a perfect form, and then you're saying that, oh, let's put something on it to protect it, but it's immobilizing it, if that makes sense, right? So, and it's not just about, all these things. It's just, again, looking at things logically. I brought into the sport, nobody, when I started training in motocross, really went to the gym. They really didn't. It was all bicycle, just everything
Running.
was that. And so I brought all this functional training to the sport, and everybody's like, oh, RYNO, goes to the gym too much. Well, what the fuck's everybody doing now?
Right.
Then I bring hey, organic food, man. You have to feed yourself just like you're feeding the motorcycle. Most people spend more money putting the best oils and gas and lubricants on their motorcycle, and then they're running through Jack in the Box to go to fucking to go
Eat
to
like
the
shit.
store or go to their track.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? So I brought all this organic stuff, and everybody's all this, and then brought the technique. All this technique about hips and all this, and everybody giving you shit about the hips and these things. Well, you cannot ride a motorcycle to the level that these guys are riding their motorcycle without your hips rotated out.
Yeah.
Nobody ever looked at that. Nobody ever thought about it. Nobody ever identified it. Nobody ever taught it. And then now you cannot ride motocross to the potential that they are right now without that position of the back straight, the hips out on your toes.
Is it kind of funny to you that, you've went through these phases where, you're kind of the first one to, again, jump on that and publicly say that this is how you should be doing this shit. And everybody else is kind of sitting back, again, calling you crazy, calling you a hippie, whatever.
Look at the two guys that are going to rule the sport in the next year or so, Lawrence and Sexton.
Right.
Come on.
And they have,
it's exaggerated.
They do.
Yeah.
They exaggerate
exaggerated.
exactly what you say.
And where do you think they learned it from?
Well, and it's funny when
Right.
it's funny when it comes full circle, but I feel like you still don't get the recognition for it. Like now that everyone's doing the shit that you've said for the last 10 years, every time it comes full circle and you're like, look, I told you guys, no one's like, hey, see, RYNO did tell us.
Right.
No one
Yeah.
wants to take credit. Everyone's ego's so big.
And there's
they're just
nobody
like
else.
they're just like, oh yeah, we figured out a new way.
There's
Well,
nobody
it's
else saying this
It's
besides you.
just because of sport, everybody's too proud.
Everyone is too proud. That's the problem with the industry.
And so be it. And just like even yoga, nobody did yoga.
Oh, the hot yoga?
I go to my yoga studio. There's 10 kids in there now.
Right.
That ride motocross.
Yep.
Okay, it's this. this. And then now I'm bringing all this healing stuff, you know, because I've broken myself up in the last, you know, last couple of years pretty bad. And just with the ice baths, the saunas, you know, all these different things.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's doing it now.
And again, you know, hey, you can say what you want to say, but man, when I find something out, I share it, don't I?
Yeah.
I don't keep it to myself.
Yep.
I don't try to make money off it.
Yeah.
Do I? You don't see me try to make money off shit that I talk about or that I share.
You should
not
be.
like every other
shit that you realistically should be
not
making
other
money
motherfucker
off.
that's on Instagram that can't sell anything, promote anything without some coupon code or some way of making some money.
Well, that's the problem in our industry is realistically there's a lot of people that are trying to be you or trying to do what you do just to make the money off of it.
Yeah.
Then there's you who are really doing it again.
Yeah.
And you're not making the money that you should be for it.
Are you doing things out of love for it, or are you doing things out of out of greed?
Mm-hmm.
You know, most people are doing things out of greed. I only do things out of love.
Yeah.
And so if you do things out of love, you're not looking for any return.
Right.
Yeah.
My return comes other places in my life. You know what I mean? And it's not just making money. People don't see how I live on the other side. People don't see the opportunities that come to me. People don't see, I guess, the blessings I've had from some of the injuries that I've had that I'm still able to walk.
Right.
You know, I mean, I've broken my neck twice in the last 2 years, and very bad.
Which is absolutely crazy that you're able to do that at, no offense, the age you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and be able to come back. That's what I mean. It's
so this last
I don't know anybody else.
Yeah, I want to hear about that. Let's talk about that. It was what, 3 weeks ago? I think Monday.
It'll be 4 weeks ago tomorrow.
4 weeks.
4 weeks ago tomorrow. So I was just coming. You know, I'm on a street bike, and you give me a motorcycle, and it's like fucking heroin. You know what I mean? And so I'm going through Temecula Parkway, and I was hitting red light. I'm like, dude, screw this, you know? So red light. I'm like, damn it. So I turned right, and I was going to cut through the parking lot. Turned right, turned left in the parking lot, got on the gas, and I went, and we kind of just hit at the right point, but he hit the back of my motorcycle. So I flipped off, and I landed in a planter. You know, so the hit was so much softer than it would have been the ground. Because if I landed on the ground, dude, I'd probably still be in the hospital.
Right.
If not, you know, never walking again or dead. And so I landed on that, and then kind of came to, but whatever it was. But I didn't knock myself out because I was coherent instantly. But I was laying on the ground, and then there's some people above me just telling me, hey, you know, stay down. And I'm like, I can't move. You know, I was paralyzed from neck down. And that's the scariest thing that will ever happen to anybody because your whole life almost flashes in your eyes of, oh my God, I'm going to be like this the rest of my life. And oh my God, I did this again. You know, when I told myself
you wouldn't do it again.
I didn't want to do it, so that's why I wasn't riding motocross, but it's a motorcycle.
Right.
And so, you know, they're telling me to stay down, and I'm like, and I just started like, just inside myself, just like forcing my arms to just do something. And then I finally started to get a little feeling, little movement. And so I started crawling around on my arms, and they're telling me to stay down. I'm telling them to get the fuck away from me. I got to get up, and got to one knee, and I fell back down, and then kind of crawled up and got to one knee, both knees. And they're still telling me that ambulance is coming, stay down. And I'm like,
I'm walking this one off.
Get out of here. And so I got up to 1 foot and fell down, and then it looked like one of those baby giraffes just getting born, you know, wobbling. And I finally
concussed.
Finally got up to my feet, and it wasn't because concussion. It's just I'm getting movement back to my body.
Yeah.
But
it comes off like you're drunk or fully.
Yeah,
but
no,
I
mean, I couldn't. Yeah, they knew I couldn't. I couldn't move, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so then I got up to my feet, and I found out my foot was broken or whatever. It was broken down there, you know, at the time. And so then the ambulance was there quick because the hospital was right across the street. It happened, and I looked up and when I got to my feet and everything, I'm like, how in the hell do you guys get here so quick? The cops were there. The ambulance was there. I mean, like,
was I out?
From the time I hit the car to the time I was in the hospital was 20 minutes.
No shit.
Holy
shit.
It
was insane. And so I didn't have time to even register kind of what happened or even tell, a report of what happened.
Right.
It just was because I was so close. So anyways, so I was standing there, and then one of the fire guys came up, and he goes, I know who you are. I'm like, all right, dude, help me out. And I'm like, so he put me on the curb, put me in the curb, and then I went there, and then they got the X-rays and stuff. So I broke my ankle and broke my neck, and yeah, I mean, I didn't even put a cast on my foot.
So not even 4 weeks ago, and you just walked your ass in here.
Yeah, I didn't even put a cast on my foot. I barely even wore my neck brace. You know what I mean?
So
and I just started
cold plunge and sauna.
The first day, I just started walking a little bit on my foot, even with crutches, just a teeny bit of pressure.
So that's crazy to me. Like any normal person gets hurt, and the first thing they do when they get home is they want to lay down and they don't want to move.
No, you can't.
So your first thing is
move.
When a doctor wants to cast it.
Yeah,
even though it's broken and things are wrong.
There's certain levels.
Yeah, if it's displaced, you're
there's
fucked.
certain levels. I mean, again, if this thing's displaced like this, if there's a crack, if you have to go off what pain's allowing.
Okay.
And so a teeny bit of pressure on my foot didn't hurt. Okay, so a teeny bit of pressure, a little bit. I'd sit there, and at first I wore my neck brace, but maybe the first week, but then I just kind of move like this much.
Mm-hmm. So you're taking no time to get back. If your body's allowing you to have that movement.
What do animals do? Do the animals sit down and hang
they don't
around?
Get cast.
In the fucking in Africa, are they allowed to be able? No, they got to get back in the game. Then that's why animals heal so quick. And the same thing with humans. We can do the same thing but again, what you don't use, you lose.
Yeah.
So after 72 hours, you start to atrophy. A muscle starts to atrophy. So if the body, it's animalistic. It's an animal. You know what I mean? It really is. It's 99% the same as a fucking chimpanzee. So how can it be that way? So it knows if it needs to get back in the game, I feel. And it knows if I'm safe. Oh, I'm safe. I can just, doesn't know its surroundings that it's safe, but it just feels safe because it's being, kind of stationary. But if you're always kind of moving, well, the body's like, man, we got to almost heal quicker. And you can't deny it because I've healed so fast, and I haven't done
time and time again.
I haven't done any weird lasers or these or that. Or no, I just simple things is, stay good health, nutrition, move as much as you can, stay busy, as much as you can, ice bath, sauna, sun, you know what I mean, stretching, and then just slowly just, kind of picking up that not the intensity of it, but I guess the intensity of it of just what the body will allow, what the pain will allow, what your instincts will allow. You go off your instincts. Your instincts know. I just ask my body, can I do this? And energy raises or it goes down. That's a yes and it's a no.
See, that's an interesting thing because I just dealt with an injury. I broke every bone in my hand, fractured my L6. And, the worst of it is the hand and the wrist, right? So I'm 90% healed now, 95% healed now. But going through it, the big question to me was like, okay, it's letting me have these little bit more motion every day, but am I damaging anything by going too quick? You know what I mean? There's all these questions that pop, but like it's nice to hear you say that because again, my hand's letting me do more every day. It's letting me do a little bit more. So
and the thing is it's a level of what you're doing. Are you punching shit? Are you hanging on to big heavy stuff? No.
Squeezing a little ball.
Are you using it
just
in a very subtle, controlled way? Then give me a break. I feel like, I could tell someone how to heal quicker than a doctor is because a doctor is really just telling you from a book.
Right.
I'm telling you from experience.
And experience goes.
And again, every injury is different. It's just different. But even with my back, when I broke my back, I walked 100 miles the first month. Because I asked the doctors, what's going to help me heal quickest, and they said just walk. The first day I could walk maybe to into the fucking cul-de-sac and back,
right? And
I was done because they have to flay you open and all this stuff. I mean, it's gnarly. And so each day I just walked a little more, then sometimes two times a day, and just that constant movement. Dude, your body heals quicker. I don't give a shit what anybody says. But also you got to make sure that you're eating and taking, supplements and things like that will make you heal quicker. Because again, how's the body supposed to renew itself, heal itself if it's eating dead substances? Usually most people are eating food that takes more energy to digest than you're getting out of it because it's a dead substance.
Right.
Meaning, boxed food, packaged food, fast food, processed food, microwave food, all frozen food, all this, that's why people look so gray. You know, when they start getting my age.
I got the fillet as well.
Huh?
I got the back fillet as well, right? You said
Oh, the
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah. T2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
yeah, you did them all.
Yeah, I got 2 rods, 11 screws in my back.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I feel like when people. Oh, sorry.
Thing.
Oh, the mesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that.
I feel like when a lot of people get hurt, though, they just like it's an excuse to just lay low, do nothing, eat like shit. Like, you know what I mean? But it's not helping you any.
Yeah,
Yeah.
realistically, you should be.
Like everyone says, oh, this
Eating
is my
better
reset. Well, it's going to
Yeah.
take you twice as long to
Yeah,
fucking
that's-
reset.
Yeah, it's not your reset if you're going
Yeah.
backwards. You
Right.
know?
Exactly.
And so for me, I guess it's easy because I don't have cravings in foods. Like I didn't crave nothing food wise.
Right.
You know, I eat for energy. I eat for health, and that's really about it.
No
Yeah.
ice cream, no candy
no ice
bars.
cream, no cake.
That's
no
good. I
candy,
wish I had
no,
that.
Dang, yeah,
No,
that's crazy.
have to have a hamburger. Have to have a soda.
That's all he eats.
Damn,
Nothing.
yeah. Have you seen his diet?
I
You
need to
probably-
I need
Hop on
to.
your
I have to
program.
stick
I
with
need
my.
to get
I have
healthy.
willpower to a
Yeah.
point, but
Nothing. I mean, if I have anything, do I like ice cream? Well, if there's an ice cream eating contest, I'd win.
Gotcha.
So I love,
I'm gonna
I
win
love
that.
ice cream. I'll kill it.
right.
But it's just, the dairy and the this and the that just doesn't work for the body. So if I do have anything sweet, it's usually some dark chocolate and that's it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Or a nice tasty woman.
Yeah. You can't beat that little red wine, sexy time.
Yeah.
We all do love that.
It's funny. I remember you saying a while back, like even healthy food though, didn't you say like microwaving it like kills it?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
it's bad
yeah,
for
'cause-
it. You heat on the stove.
Yeah, what kind of
For
food?
reheating.
Yeah, what are you how can you cook food in 30 seconds?
Right.
1 minute.
Anything in the microwave doesn't
you
seem
just-
like
you're just
it's
gonna
good,
destroy it.
right?
Yeah, it's good. It tastes okay, but you take out anything that's live in it. You just
Extracts.
zapped it.
Mm.
You zapped it. And same thing is almost cooking too high on the skillet too. Too high of temperatures can kill a lot of foods, a lot of
Yeah.
enzymes and things. So. Again, you are what you eat. What you put in is how you're gonna. You repair every 7 years. So, is this going to be a nice eyeball? Is
Right.
this going to be a new bone? And that's what you got to think every time you put the food in your mouth, because it's only you.
Right.
You're the only one putting food in your mouth. So
Right.
if you want to put blame on all this other shit, you're just lying to yourself. It's kind of funny.
Right.
Oh well, and no, but this hand is what's doing it, or this hand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
how
right.
can you blame?
You do it to
anything
yourself,
else?
right?
How can you blame anything else?
Yeah, but everyone can find someone to blame.
yeah, but food is the biggest drug on earth.
Yeah.
You
It
know what
is.
I mean? It's a bad thing because everybody has to eat it. But when people are sad, when people are unhappy, people are, sometimes even nervous or whatever they do, they eat.
Mhm.
They're bored, they eat.
Yeah.
And this is why you have this problem in the United States that, most men have B-cup titties and a fat belly. I'm sorry, dude.
You're
It's
right.
plain and simple. It's
You're
because
right.
they're constantly snacking, constantly eating, the worst stuff you could eat. I mean, most, men are eating pizza and beer.
Right.
You got this big gluten bomb, and then you have this, beer that's full of lectins, and both those will create
Just
a lot
bloat
of
like a motherfucker.
create a lot of estrogen in the body.
Yeah.
And that's what a man doesn't need.
No.
So I want to put a bookmark right here because I want to get into another topic with you. But before we get into that, piggybacking off of the healing process and recovering, I really wanted to get your opinion on, you go through an injury, you go to the hospital, first thing the doctor does is prescribe you a whole bunch of pain meds that, they might make you feel, it's a Band-Aid, right?
Yeah.
They might make
Leads
you feel
to
good for
opiate
the
addiction.
night, but it leads to a whole bunch of other shit. So what is your opinion on all of
Well,
that?
the thing is you got to use your intelligence. You got to use your instinct, because again, a body will not heal if it's in pain. A body will not heal if it's in stress. And so if you're in constant pain, you're not healing.
Gotcha.
So yes, pain pills are amazing to get you over a hump, but pain pills aren't amazing to
Rely on.
create a story on, because that's what everybody's creating is a story of, oh well, I have to take this and I have to take that. So yeah, have I taken pain pills? Yes. Do I still take some at night? Yes, because I need to sleep. At night is when I start to ache.
Gotcha.
It's only been a month. But am I very disciplined with it? 100%. I have a bottle of it. Can I take 6 of them? 100%. I take 2.
Yep.
Can I take them all day? 100%. I take them at 5 p.m. and that's it.
Yep.
Is there different ones that I would take and wouldn't take? Yeah, they gave me, Oxycontin. I took them a couple times, just I didn't like the way it felt. It was way too way too kind of just narcotic-y, you know?
Yeah.
So I stopped taking those, and I take a lower, I guess, potency
Right.
of one. But, you know,
Kind of find what works for you.
tomorrow is 1 month, and I usually allow myself, depending on the injury, you know, to go about a month, and then that's it, you know? So my plan is after really tomorrow, is that they're done.
Gotcha.
And
So
you just have to have that. You just have to have that discipline with it, because if you don't, they're going to start taking over you. You know what I mean? And it's so easy just to do a little more. Then that crash is going to be so much harder.
Your body adapts to it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you know?
because I felt when I had my injury,
Mm-hmm.
my body was just like
Dependent.
relying. And like and my fingers started cramping if I didn't have it.
Yeah, no, I definitely can see
It's like a withdrawal.
a little bit at the moment. You know, like I start getting achy at a certain time for some reason. I'm like, well, wait a minute, you know what I mean?
And-
so you got to be aware of
Nerves
it.
just-
But then, you know, also I feel it's very important to, you know, have that sauna, that detox that you do every day to maybe get some of this medicine or these chemicals out of your body. You know what I mean? Out of your organs and stuff like that, because that's what an infrared sauna will do.
Yeah.
You know, it will definitely, you know, pull a lot of those toxins out of the body, out of the organs. And so if you can meet that with that, then cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think it's really important for, you know, people to hear these stories and these
I mean,
experiences
because
from
you know
you.
we're only human, and again, you know, I've gone through times where just, you know, toughed it out, and but it's fucking miserable, man.
Right.
Why? You know, just get over the hump, but be smart about it. Be
Yeah.
smart about it. You have to be your own cop. No one's going to do that for you, because again, these are your hands that are twisting that knob and pulling them in your mouth, and then
Right.
also how many times a day you're doing it. But then also you have to start thinking about how you feel. You know, you feel so tired, and you feel so kind of, you know,
Like shit.
lethargic, you know,
Yeah.
mentally. And is that the way I want to go through my days? Hell no.
No.
Not even close. So, you know, you just got to kind of fight it that way.
So kind of to highlight like what you were saying, just because again, I do think this is a really important piece for people to listen to. You know, when you start getting to that achy point, that point where you're still getting over the hump,
yeah.
and you're starting to, fuck, should I just take one to get over this? I took one a couple hours ago. I know I probably shouldn't. Like, what are some ways that people can try to put that urge to the back of their
another
mind?
thing too is what, you know, kind of helps me is staying busy. Because then you're moving, you're grooving, you're walking around, you're doing things, you're maybe working in the yard, whatever it is, but maybe even things that you don't do, but just to keep yourself busy, because once you start moving, then your mind goes off of kind of how bad you
Shitty
ate.
that
but
is,
if you're
yeah.
just sitting there aching, well, of
It's
course your
nothing
mind's
else.
going to just go straight to that. You know,
Yeah.
it's like having a refrigerator full of the most yummy food and you're hungry,
Right.
but you're just sitting there
Yeah.
looking
You're
at the
gonna eat.
refrigerator. Well, duh. But if you're hungry and you're doing stuff, well, then that attention isn't there. You know what
Yep.
I mean?
Probably the best analogy for it.
You
It
know,
is.
so
That makes sense.
You know, it is. So I just try to stay a little bit more busy and do things, even if it's just like raking a trail or, you know, just something that I can do. But just
Even
I
if
have
you're-
to stay busy, or you're just going to sit there and you almost start aching more.
Right.
You know?
Well, because you're thinking about it too.
Yeah, and so it's just, again, you know, every injury is different, everybody's different, but again, if you don't start moving and grooving and trying to make yourself healthy again, well, then you're going to be aching more. You're going to start becoming more stiff. You're going to start maybe causing more problems in the body. That's going to almost feel like you need to be taking stuff, but you're not doing any yoga. You're not stretching. You're not hiking. You're not. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that can take a lot of the tension out of the body, 100%. So like after tomorrow will be a month, so I'll start my yoga. So everything I have a plan, okay? This time I start doing some hiking. Now I start doing a little, you know, maybe doing a little bit with some weights. Then I'll start doing yoga. You know, just everything has a plan in it at a certain time. And then, you know, that's kind of how I get through my injuries. But, you know, for me, I don't want to ever do this. I don't want to go through any more injury. I mean,
Right.
if I have to do this, if I had to go through something like this again, I'd just probably shoot myself.
Yeah.
No, serious.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely done. And so, you know, so I've really kind of respected this situation, this lesson, and you know, now just it's time to just enjoy life instead of always racing it and chasing it. You know, because I've raced it and chased it harder than anybody that I know.
Yeah. And you have so much to give back.
And now it's it's time to just kind of I guess, kind of relax in the now, and then be able to allow everything that I guess I've acquired to kind of just seep out, and talk to people and talk to the sport. And if I help one person, I help one person. If a million
it could go a long way.
If a million people think I'm crazy, then so be it, man.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Fuck, this is a good one. I've got so many damn things I want to bring up in my head. I hear all these people all the time because Shane and I talk about it all the time. We're into all these other things besides moto. Yeah. And, one of the biggest things that you hear in recovery and training and stuff in mixed martial arts, which is another thing that him and I and even Dylan are super into, is ice baths and sauna. Yeah. And I hear you talk about that shit all the time. How important are those two?
I've been doing an infrared sauna for probably the last 25 years.
No shit.
I've had one since the 90s. You know what I mean?
About 20 years longer than everybody else.
Yeah. I've had them. Excuse me?
What are those called? The cold
plunge.
The cold plunge.
Yeah.
The ice stuff I've done for the last 3 years, probably 4 years maybe. But the sauna I've been doing for the last 25 years probably.
Yeah.
I've been doing it before anybody even knew about it. And every day I would just go, I go in for like 30 minutes. So now, but I never did the ice, the cold, but I would go, just my own thing. I would go sauna, then go into a cold shower.
Yeah.
Now I have a couple freezers on my property. So now I do a lot more ice baths. So, I'll do ice bath, get into a sauna, and then
what are the main benefits to those? Like what do you get out of those?
The biggest thing is, Ken, when you put ice on something, you're putting ice in one spot, so just this spot's getting that cold therapy or whatever. But when you sink your whole body into some frigid temperature or frigid water, I've never seen anybody get into cold water and not go until you get used to it.
Yep.
Until you get
and
used
I hear
to
that
it.
on Rogan all the time.
So when someone goes, it's almost like I just rebooted my phone.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just kind of almost like it's just a shock. So you reboot your body almost. It says it turns on some sleeping DNA that kind of gone dormant because of this. Then you're getting full body blood circulation, especially if you go hot to cold. But in the cold, the inflammation, you get the inflammation out. But the biggest thing is the mind. Okay, most people do a cold and ice bath maybe once, twice, 3 times a year or whatever. But if you can do it almost every single day, well, then that takes discipline because it's going to suck. It's going to be cold. But if you can just allow yourself to get into an uncomfortable situation, that means you're becoming comfortable with that. And then how you do anything is how you do everything. So that starts to transfer into everything else you do in your life. Something else that's discomforting, maybe even something with a relationship, you're going to be able to respond to it instead of react to it. And reaction is always from the past. So that's why half the time you get in a fight with your relationship, you're like, damn it, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have been that way, because you're reacting. You're not responding to it. Responding is taking a breath and then going, okay, and you have a different answer, right? So that's, with the ice bath. Then you jump into a sauna or vice versa. And so when the body gets cold, the blood comes to the organs to keep it at a certain temperature. Then when you get in the heat, well, now the blood comes out to the surface of the skin. So then it keeps the organs at a certain temperature. So you're getting that full body blood circulation. So you're getting new blood in maybe different areas of the body.
It doesn't matter before or after?
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think so. I usually do ice bath first, just because it takes more kind of balls just to get into it first, instead of being hot then getting in there.
Yeah, I don't like that. I like to start cold.
So do it that way. But with the sauna, now you're detoxing yourself down to the cellular point. It's taking out heavy metals, which is huge with people thinking they have mental disorders and stuff like that. No, it's probably just heavy metal poisoning. It strips the plastic out of the body from the foods you're eating. If you drink, if you smoke, if you dip, if you anything, you need to do that, because all that shit lugs you down, and that cleanses your blood, heals cuts, bruises, scratches, balances your hormones. Then again, you kind of take off this little layer of I don't even know. It's kind of a little layer of gunk.
Just shit.
Yeah, it's a little layer of gunk. Like
Yeah.
if I go
Weakness.
travel for a while and I don't do my sauna and then I come home and I jump in my sauna, it's almost like a kind of a thick sweat. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
But if I sauna, I sauna all the time, well, then it's a very watery
That's
sweat.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
almost like all those
Like-
toxins are just not
Yeah.
even.
Yeah. You can like see it
Notes over
Yeah,
here.
it's 100%.
on
Yeah,
that.
that's fuck. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, you're
I know
good.
you're gonna
So
go
then
somewhere
that's
with
the
that.
thing too is, but then I'll mix it up is I'll do ice bath and an Epsom salt bath.
Yeah.
So at night I usually do that. So morning sometimes ice bath and sauna or just ice bath depending on the weather. And then at night I'll do ice bath and then have my bathtub already ready with a bunch of Epsom salts and stuff like that, and then soak into that. And that's one of the best feelings ever, because sauna, it takes a little bit to warm up, but right when you jump into let's say a jacuzzi or a Epsom salt bath, it's like you got all this warmth around you. You just feel the warmth start coming in your body, and it's, I don't know, it's like
Epsom salt's the
it's
shit,
almost
too.
like euphoric. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if you can do it 3-4 times in a row, dude. You're like, whoa.
No
Is
shit.
it bad to go from the hot to the cold very fast?
I don't think so.
Just go right into
So-
it, don't you?
Just go
Because your
into it.
body's just reacting.
Yeah, your body will get used to it. I mean, everybody thinks the body is like this sensitive fucking,
it just needs to respond.
porcelain thing. No, dude, your body is gnarly.
Yeah,
it
people
can
forget
handle
that-
it can handle anything.
Well, and that makes you react more.
and what you do consistently is what your body's going to start becoming comfortable with.
Right.
It's just going to be, you see these guys that don't have legs or doesn't have this, and they can do amazing stuff. Well, because the body starts to change into that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It starts to be, I
Right.
guess, conditioned. So the more you do that stuff, well, then the more the body's kind of almost at ease with it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like for me, I don't even notice it. I jump in an ice bath and just,
Yeah. You don't even make a face, nothing.
no, because I've done it so many times.
Right.
Your body's getting more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
adapted
you've
to
been building
that
up
too.
that black fat and all this stuff, and
Right.
or black fat or gray fat, whatever, around the organs and stuff like that. But then again, your body just gets used to it.
Right.
It's kind of like the winter time, and then all of a sudden it's 60 something degrees, and all of a sudden you have an 80 degree day, and it's just like, whoa,
It's hot.
holy cow. But in the summertime, it's 110, whatever, the 90 degree day is like nothing. Your body
Right.
just gets used to it, right?
Right.
And so it's just you're a product of your environment, plain and simple. What you eat, what you breathe, or what you eat, what you watch, what you hear, what you listen to, who you hang around, all these different things is what you become. You can't not,
Yeah.
because these are all like little imports, right? You're inputting, you're taking in people's information, you're taking in food, you're taking in information. All these things are like little portals to you. So you got to be very careful what's going into these
Right,
portals,
right.
because you just become that. You know what I mean? You eat shitty food, what happens? Brrr.
Yeah.
You watch porn all day, what happens? You become fucking, demented.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dude, I might have that
You hang
problem.
around toxic friends. Well, what's happening? You're starting to become toxic. You're starting to
100%.
go
Yeah,
down.
you're
starting
around
to-
You
lazy
are a
people, you're
product
gonna
of your
become
environment.
lazy.
yeah, you're starting to
Absolutely.
do what these friends do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You listen to some theology or some weird something. Well, then you start to
Have
get
crazy
conditioned
thoughts,
into
right.
that,
Yep.
and you start to become that. So
For
So
sure.
back
It's
to the
very
porn
simple.
thing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
What
He's
is
like
the
back
bad
and forth,
situation
yeah.
on that?
He's like, okay, hold on.
How much is
I gotta-
too
Shane
much?
needs
How
help
much
with
is
this
too
one.
much?
I'm just asking a question
How much
for
is
a
too
friend.
much?
yeah, no, not me.
Not me. No.
Yeah,
It's
a roommate
I got
of mine.
Yeah, I got a friend, and he
My
was kind
buddy's
of talking to me,
got,
my
like, a
buddy. Yeah.
Issue or whatever.
Yeah.
Rhymes with Jackson.
But no, I think what you said before is super powerful. Like I love hearing that being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that almost reflects on the rest of your life, because
That's a superpower.
it is.
It's a
And
superpower, even in sports.
Right.
You have to learn to be comfortable being tired.
Right.
You have to learn to be comfortable being hot.
And those
you
are
have to
the
learn
most
being
successful
comfortable,
people, right?
Just being exhausted on a motorcycle,
Right.
whatever it is. So if it's an issue, well, then it's never going to work. But see, the thing is people are too comfortable right now. That's the problem. They're too comfortable right now, and that's why there's so much. People are kind of so, I guess, lost, lazy. whatever it is. And the reason that everybody's so comfortable is because they have too many options. They have too many fucking options, man.
Yeah.
And when you have too many options, well, then you can start becoming so comfortable. Oh, I'm going to turn this on, and that you just
everything's
you
easy.
never have to get out of your
Everything's
comfort.
easy.
You know what I mean? Because you have so many options, but now you have so many options that your life is almost becoming bored. So what do you have to do? You have to fill it full of entertainment. That's why there's so much entertainment out here right now. Crazy amounts, right? It's because people are so almost bored, almost domesticated, because there's so many options to keep yourself comfortable. And I've noticed that from living off grid and all this is that, my ability to deal with just circumstances or whatever it is just so much higher than the norm,
right?
Because I just hear people complain about whatever, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice it,
right?
It's because
what the fuck are you talking
about? I didn't notice it because there's always something going on. There's
right.
always
Right.
something that's uncomfortable. There's always something to fix,
to bitch about
this and that at living off grid. I mean, it's a
Right.
whole different
That's nice.
world.
Mm-hmm.
All these people say, "Oh, I'd love to live off grid." Yeah,
You probably couldn't handle
I
it.
see it for 1 year.
Yeah.
Most people can't.
No.
Because it's a whole nother.
I have no cell
way of
service.
living. Yeah. So that's what I think a lot of the issue is just people are too comfortable.
What do you think this generation of social media is doing to the world? Do you think it's fucking ruining everybody, or do you think it's helping in any way? What's your take on it?
Well, the thing is,
Shane and I talk about this all the time.
So I talk to people my age, and I say, hey, when you're younger, I go, how much did you compare yourself to anybody? And they're like, we didn't, because again, we were at school. You saw those same people all the time. You went home and you had 3 friends. That's it.
Right.
Not that many people going by you, not that many people around. Well, so maybe every once in a while you'd compare yourself maybe just at school or whatever, but not the rest of the day type of thing, because there wasn't anything to compare yourself against. And then you're watching TV, which is sitcoms and all these things. But now, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, there's a comparison and there's a judgment, and that you always comparing yourself to somebody, and nobody follows anybody that almost has less followers than them. So they're always following these whatever, people that most, popular people that most are fake, and you're comparing yourself to them. Well, how are you not supposed to feel less than?
Right.
How less than, or judgmental, or this and that. So that can bring in to this poor me, this I'm not doing enough. I need to be this. I need to become that. So
Right.
it's just taking you completely out of yourself and causing a lot of, to me, mental issues that everybody are just, kind of wanting to magnify and use as, kind of a safety net of, oh, I have anxiety. Oh, I have depression. Well, be very careful.
It's an out.
Be very
It's an
careful
excuse.
for, like I did that post the other day, be very careful of calling yourself anything, because now you take on this story.
Right.
You take on this story.
You believe
Oh,
it.
I have anxiety. Okay, well, here's your story now. So now you can blame, oh, this is why, and then you have excuses. Oh, this is why, because
Yeah.
you brought on a story.
And you feel like it's okay
When you
because
start to
have this
believe
excuse.
anything after a while.
Yeah, you bring on a story, and it's the same thing as getting into some, political thing or religious thing or whatever it is. You're going to start taking on that story of that organization. Is a collective mindset, and that collective mindset, it starts almost thinking you. You know what I mean? And so you got to be very, very, very careful of putting some label on yourself. And that's what everybody's doing now with this mental health thing, is everybody's just, raising their hand and saying, I have this. No, you don't, man.
Yeah.
No, you don't. There's some dis-ease in you of why you're feeling anxious.
Right.
There's some dis-ease in you. So let's find out what that dis is. What's dissing you?
Right.
Is it the food? Is it what you're eating, what you're watching, what you're paying attention to? And then once you can diss that away, well, then you'll be at ease.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you're just saying that I have a disease, which is called anxiety or depression or whatever. You're not really looking at it.
Right.
And so if I say I have anxiety, well, now there's nowhere to go from there. There's nowhere to go from there.
Right.
Where can I go once I say that?
Right.
You're
kind of backed into that corner.
Yeah, you backed in the corner, and then you have some Band-Aid to try to fix it.
Medication. Everyone resorts to
and all
medication.
Band-Aids fall off, right? But if you are looking at the dis-ease in you of why, well, then maybe you definitely can find a way out of it.
What's funny is I never hear people say, ever. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, I'm feeling really anxious right now. I'm going to go for a run.
Yeah.
I'm going to go work out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when people get that anxious feeling, they just want to like close up to where, you know, I feel like a lot of the anxiety and whatever is from a lot of what you're saying, just constant comparison.
It's your
but then
outlook.
you're just building up all this energy within yourself. And there's really no way to release it besides almost like jealousy, anger, you know, and all that's just building inside you to where, again, if you were to just go for a fucking run, go for a 40-minute run, come back and you're huffing and puffing, I would almost guarantee you won't give a fuck about any of that shit anymore.
Yeah, don't lay in bed with your thoughts.
Right.
Again, that is the key, but there's a lot of people that don't have that ability to do that. Not that they can't, just they're not motivated enough.
So at the end of the day,
95% of this world is just the norm.
Right.
Followers, this and that. There's 5% that is unique. There's 5% that is different. And those 5% usually have the hardest time in this world because it's hard to find a mate, hard to find friends, hard to find a community that is so small if only 5% of the whole world is unique. Right. Because then you're looking for that same type of person you are.
100%.
You know what I mean? So that's why it's so hard for me to find a woman, because I want something so unique because of the ability of who I am. But I'm looking at a bunch of duds, you know, that have just given up on themselves. Right. And, you know, that's where...
And you don't even have time for it. You're just like, fuck this.
I don't have time for it because I don't really even care. I don't
it's
care
not worth your
just
time.
to, bone somebody. Oh, yeah, cool. You know, how much... You know, I've had more sex than sex itself. You know what I mean? So I don't need to go chase that. And but I'm just saying, and that happens and that comes out in many different realms. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And but you know, and then also fear of the future. So, but you're getting downloaded with all this fear of this, or fear that you're not going to become what you think you should be. Fear that you're not going to be. Excuse me, you're not going to be successful in this life or whatever the hell it is. That can create a lot of anxiety in you too. For sure. And or being fake, being something that you're not, because your spirit knows that you're being fake. Yeah. So there's going to be like this tension in you. There's anxiety in you because of being something that you're not. You know. And that's what most people are being in this world, is something that they're not. And that's why most people have a problem with me. Is because I'm being completely me, right? And that is different than most people trying to be the same. Yeah,
right. You know? When I feel like a lot of people that like hate on that, they're jealous because they can't be that way. Yeah, like they're hating on you because I feel like a lot of hate comes from jealousy or insecurity. So they want to be you. They want to be themselves. They want to do what you're doing, but they can't.
Right. Yeah, and that's the only where it can come from. Is that is a jealousy, or is it is a resentment?
Yeah, I didn't do anything to you,
or stuff like that. But that's why I kind of I joke with Davey Coombs about I'm the most dangerous person in the sport. And he goes, "Why is that?" I go, "Because I don't collect a check from anybody. Yeah, I don't have a sponsor from anybody. Yeah, I don't need to protect a job from anybody, and I don't.
It is dangerous when you can. And
I don't have a persona, and I don't have a persona that I need to hold up.
You got nothing to lose.
I have nothing to lose, and so be very careful with what you kind of come to me about, because I have nothing to lose, and I will speak.
You're going to get the rawest answer.
I'll speak the utmost truth about it, and especially if someone wants to come and battle me about it. Then it'll come out even more. But it's not anything else except I do not want to be owned. I do not want to have to save face. I want to tell the sport and anybody that's listening to me the absolute truth. Yeah. There's no joke behind it, and I'm trying to collect and protect and beat. No. There's enough of those guys out there in this sport. There's so many champions out here that do not help the sport at all.
100%.
They just keep taking and keep taking and keep taking. And the sport is it's insane to me that they give these washed up riders all this money. Yeah. Which they could turn around and give the youth of the sport, or the up-and-comers, these kids a chance. These guys are done, man. These guys are done, and I guarantee
they're still making millions.
They're not selling motorcycles.
No.
You know what I mean? But you could take that $1 million from this guy, or 150,000 from this guy, or whatever it is, and give it into a way to try to help the sport grow, help riders, possibly make it in the sport.
Right.
know what I mean?
Well,
you
even
know, $150,000 a year, how many motorcycles I could buy you could give to
Right.
people for?
Yeah,
You know,
you can
or
do a
even
lot
$1
with
million a year.
Yeah.
But these guys at this level, they've gotten so good because they're just so greedy that they want everything.
Yeah.
They want everything. And that is a certain type of person.
Yeah.
You know, I've never been that way. You know, I'm always I'm
Right.
a sharer.
Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah.
I got it, then why shouldn't you have it?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and even
know?
even as a top, like when you're a top privateer on the cusp of, you know, making it to that, there's no in between. As a top privateer, you know, battling with factory guys, you might make 50 grand a year.
Yeah.
That's a joke. But then the guy that's right in front of you that you're battling with might make 200 grand a year. But then the guy right in front of him is making $1 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's
and
like there's
then-
no in between.
And then the
All
guy
their
in between is making
sponsors
10.
own them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's
so-
just no in between.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just everything or nothing, pretty much.
Yeah.
All their sponsors basically own them, so they basically get
They do.
trapped.
Well, and like that's one thing that I was
They
a fan
can't
of.
say or do or whatever
Right.
they want
Yeah.
because they are relying on the paycheck.
Right. Exactly. But
Yeah,
that's
there's a lot of guys that even with like the COVID thing that wanted to say something, but they couldn't because they're
Yeah.
Monster, they're Red Bull, they're this, and said you
Well,
can't
that's
say
bullshit,
anything.
for
And
sure.
I'm like, that's so sad.
It is.
I go, that's, you know, I look at him.
They're not allowed to have a
I go, that's so
personality.
sad that you're a slave. You're a fucking slave, man.
Yeah. Well,
You know, yeah, I understand about making money and stuff, but you know, it's when you have to kind of, you know, I guess demote yourself to do it.
right.
You know, and especially when there's something that is so important to be told or be said.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're holding your breath. You know you know, I guess I forget what the line is of if you don't say it, you're a liar. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
lying, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, do you remember remember that issue in San Diego with the Lime Gate or whatever,
Yeah.
the Lime thing?
Yeah.
If the top, you know, Rocks and Tomac, if those dudes had stepped up and said, "Hey, we're not racing unless you pay everybody for the damages and
Yeah,
stuff,"
yeah.
it would have
Something
happened.
could have gotten
It
done.
would have happened, but all those dudes had to keep their mouth shut. And then you had like Tyler Bowers who have stepped up and tried to like create like a little like safety thing at the next few races. And honestly, it fucked him with AMA. They every weekend one little thing would happen and they would just he got DQ'd from one of the races because of the incident with Barsha, I think. But like they would have never DQ'd him if he hadn't stirred all that shit up.
Yeah.
But he was trying to do something and look what happened. They
Yeah.
you know
They
it
don't like
backfired.
that.
They
Yeah,
don't
you-
like
Yeah, you
confrontation.
gotta
They
be
don't
very
like
careful to ruffle the feathers of the mafia.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's MX Sports and that's AMA. You know, that's
Feld.
the mafia of the
For sure.
of
If
the
you
sport.
do-
And anytime that anybody comes and tries to poke them, you know, that they just smash them, or they have some, just like this 3-round super motocross.
Yeah.
Fuck.
What
Come on.
Do you think
are you
that's-
guys are so greedy. So greedy that you can't allow anything else to start that's going to maybe be good for the sport.
Yeah, the World
that's called the
Supercross.
World Supercross.
Yeah.
You guys are so greedy that you won't allow one rider be able to sell one thing of swag to try to make some money.
Yep.
Not one.
Yeah, in the
They're
pits.
not allowed to.
We've talked about
You know
that
what
before.
I mean, it's insanity of how greedy MX Sports and Feld and AMA are. You
Yeah.
know, maybe not AMA, but these promoters. And I don't give a shit who you are. And I don't, you know, and I'm friends with Davey and all them. But
Yeah.
the writing's on the wall, dude. And
It
all
is.
these things are on the wall. I can't help the way you guys are. And if you guys want to be this way, well, then you gotta accept what's coming back at you.
Right.
And not get offended.
Yeah.
Because if you get truly offended, then you know.
Then you're guilty.
Then you know what
You
you're
know
doing.
there's a problem, right?
Exactly.
And I'm sorry.
It's to me it's just shitty because you see F1 and all these other sports that, you know,
Oh, they say what they want. They don't get in trouble
they,
usually for
well,
shit.
They say what they want, and you know, you go to the race on the weekend. Every F1 rider lined up has a tent selling their own merch.
Yeah.
They all cash the fuck out at the
Same
end
with
of
NASCAR.
the
Oh, they can all
Same
live-
with NASCAR.
they live off
NASCAR
merch.
kills it. You know.
You live off
we're-
merch.
and we're in a racing.
Yeah.
In racing, merch is like king. Shane knows this better than most people. And anything that you're doing, if you have a brand of any sort, sell merch.
Yeah.
Right.
It,
Merch, 100%.
you know what I mean? You're a fucking idiot
Well,
if you're not.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the one sport where they're basically like, no, you're not allowed.
Yeah,
Right.
you're not allowed. You're not even allowed,
You're not
to
allowed
sell
to-
even a koozie cup.
You're
You know
not
what I mean?
allowed
Right.
to
It's-
bigger your brand to
Yeah.
essentially help the series.
Yeah, because if Reed had a shirt he could sell and had a motorcycle on it riding Supercross, well, someone's going to walk go down the street with that on, and how many people are going to see it? So you're just kind of promoting it.
Right.
Is that going to make the sport bigger? Maybe not. But
is it going to hurt it? No,
it's not going to hurt it. But the biggest thing
not
is
going to hurt it in any
the
way.
biggest thing to me is that your greed level is so high. It's so high that you're so afraid and will not allow anybody to make a dollar that you're not making.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we'll tax it.
That's absolutely that's a sickness.
Yeah,
it really is. It's a sickness. And it's sad that these people have to do that to guys that are actually making them millions, because if they didn't have these kids out there, they wouldn't be having their races and all these different things.
Yep.
And so I just, I have no respect for people. I'll be nice to people, but deep inside I have no respect for them.
Right.
And I have no respect for some of what I would call friends.
right. Don't you think
you see the true colors.
right? Don't you think though, like if the sport, like that's the sport's problem, that's why it's not growing. Like if they allowed people to sell their merch and like everyone do what all these bigger, NASCAR, F1, like if we could do in moto what they do, I feel like it would make the sport bigger and make Feld more money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that it'd make it bigger. And going back to your thing at F1, they can say whatever they want, but they could only say what they want after the first season of Drive to Survive.
Oh, 100%.
Before that, these guys were like, don't say anything, don't cuss. They were like these
because it turned
like
into
these
a
little
reality
groomed
show.
princes,
Yeah.
But they saw how much popularity that thing did, that how much more that sport grew, that they're like, okay, go. So the same thing would probably happen to Supercross.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because these brown paper bags that we have, of riders, but it's
so
hard.
crazy.
It's hard to say that they don't have personalities. It's just. I look
Not
back,
much.
I look back,
showcase
but I look back on some of my interviews that I did, and I'm like, dude, I had no personality. It's just because you're so
zoned in
that there's no other,
That's very true.
There's no other way to be, and especially after a race, it's like you're still almost in that meditative intensity.
Right.
And I don't know, it's a weird thing. So, because I
That's
was
a good
kinda
point, though. That's
capping
actually
on some guys like this, but then I look back on some of my interviews that came up. I'm like, I was boring as hell. But I think it's just because you're so in the zone that nothing
else matters.
Yeah, nothing's really.
That's really
and you don't care about media when you're in the moment. You're just like, fuck this interview.
And you don't care about anything else in life really except motocross, because what's more extravagant than riding a motorcycle at the highest level on earth?
Right.
So, is going to the mall, being an artist of this, is that really gonna? No.
Right.
It's only that.
Right. So hearing you say that actually makes me respect Jet even more, because what Jet has is pretty exceptional, to be able to go and do what he does on the bike and then come off and
handle the media really well.
The way he handles media is like no other motocross kid I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And he's young.
He's just so about it. When you go up and do an interview with him, he is like, is this good? Is everything?
Yeah.
He's fully fucking.
I feel like he was kind of groomed into that.
When you go talk to anybody else, it kind of feels like they're just like, all right, let's get this over with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess I have a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah. But with him, it's like, it's fucking, he's just on it.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, it's crazy to hear you say that, because like nowadays you're the same way. I grabbed you at Paula and you're like, yeah, absolutely. Does it look good? Mic good? Can you hear me? Everything good?
Yeah.
Like you actually cared to make sure that, your time something was coming out of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of these guys, you hook a mic to them and they're just like, what do you want me to say?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, fuck. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
What do I
hooking
do
you
with
up
my
right now
hands?
Yeah, what
because
you want you to say is what's going on in your life, or what's on your mind, or
right. Like I'm hooking a mic up to you because
you're
people
interested
want to
in.
hear from you.
Yeah. My old biggest pet peeve in like Supercross, they'd be like, "Oh, so how was that race? How was the track?" This and that. My tires hooked up great.
Yeah.
Like I didn't ask about your tires, but you have to say that because you got, you know what I mean? But it's like,
you
okay, so like, how'd you feel?
How your sponsors did it. Now, again, that's normal.
Yeah.
There's some parts of it that you're never gonna get around, and because it's part of the sport,
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't,
So I think if they had like a Ride to Survive or something like that, like they do Drive to Survive, and it made Supercross just what it did to F1, they would be like, okay, guys, let it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we
think,
tried to do that,
yeah.
and we ran into an issue ourselves.
Yeah. And which I'm not like, I'm not scared to talk about it. Like we tried doing that with Club MX and they were really down at first. And it came to a point where we were, we went into it and we told them from the beginning, hey, if we do this, we're going to be raw about it. You're going to get the realest shit. If a bike blows up
and it's on video,
we're showing it.
Yeah, shit happens.
But I mean, we're not going to take it out because, you want this whole thing fluffed.
Yeah.
That's not how we work.
We want real.
And again, we were just kind of going off of the Drive to Survive concept.
Yeah.
Like they show everything.
Yeah.
And first episode went fine. Second episode, a sprocket
bolts broke.
It caused a crash. They didn't like that. A bike blew up. They didn't like that. At the end of it, they're telling us that they're under the impression that we're trying to sabotage their business and their team and
we're trying to sabotage your team because we're filming your mistakes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like and even
it happens. These bikes aren't aren't designed
or just filming things that just happen.
Right.
Exactly. And
the bikes aren't designed to do what they do.
Right. And that's what our argument was this happens. This shit happens in this sport.
Yeah.
Why not show that? Why not show that?
Yeah, because that's what people want to.
People want to see that.
They want to see the drama of it. They don't want to just see.
They paint the perfect picture
they don't
over
want
and
to
over
see
again.
that everything just goes perfectly.
It doesn't
and that's
at all.
why a lot of people do like me in this ways because I talk about the shit that goes on in my life. I talk about the bad times. It's not all just fluff and perfect and and all that stuff because. My life has been more of the other way than the way that everybody thinks it should.
Yeah,
people when you talk about it.
Yeah,
because,
for sure.
I mean, granted, like
people kind of like when you're doing bad.
Well, it's just people like
not bad, but I'm just
people like a story. People like
drama. Perfect is boring.
I hate to say it, but perfect is boring.
Perfect is boring.
If you have some cookie cutter fucking life, you're probably not that entertaining.
No. Well, like Roxon a month ago broke a chain. He posted it that day. I thought he was going to get in a lot of trouble for that. But it happens.
Right.
You know what I mean? Josh Grant just fucking got hurt because his chain broke. You know what I mean?
But
like,
I don't understand
people
why
need to see that. Like, hey, Ken Roxon's human. His chain broke. Like, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's the thing. It's just being real.
Yeah.
It's being real. It's not trying to be, again, having to protect yourself because of all these different avenues. But, you get it. It's just, there just needs to be, just sport needs to just open its eyes a little bit, open its mind, stop always making decisions and doing things out of fear. That's the riders, that's sponsors, that's even promotional groups. They're so afraid to lose money, so they this. The sponsors are so afraid to look bad, so this. The riders are so afraid to this, so they can't. It's like, holy shit. That's kind of just like even, with knee braces and all that stuff, just people make these decisions out of fear. The fear of what what could happen. Doesn't mean it's gonna, but what could happen. And so when you're making decisions out of that, then you're usually not going to be making the best decision. Right.
Well, knee brace company started probably freaking out after your post, and people, you know what I mean, like oh shit, we're gonna lose money.
Yeah,
and then everyone started making knee pads.
Yeah, I mean, I sold probably 600 pair of EVS
for sure.
And did EVS give me a penny? Not a fucking penny.
No.
Did I ask them, hey, maybe we could do something?
Clearly
this and that, because I sold so many pairs of your knee pads. Just hey, man. And they said, no, we're not interested. So I said, you know what? Fuck you.
That is crazy.
Fuck you. And I'm going to tell everybody that asked me to go buy something else now.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
crazy that these businesses in this industry are
it's just greed is disgusting nowadays.
It's insane,
Yeah.
And so, I'll tell anybody to fuck off that's that way because to me, greed is disgusting.
It is.
It really is.
People will sell out their family for $1.
Yeah. And for what? You got to give it all back, son. You got to give it all back. I've never seen a hearse with luggage racks. So you think
you can't take it with you?
Taking this shit with you, and even your pride, and even your CEO, and all this. No, you're not. Yeah. You're not taking anything with you. There's nowhere to go on this earth. There's nothing to gain on this earth, and there's nothing to be on this earth.
Well, no one's going to remember you.
Live here on this earth.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's all gone afterwards. And these people that want to live a legacy, what are you leaving a legacy for? What? For your ego?
Right.
How's that going to help you? You're dead.
I know. I feel
all people remember
thing now on Instagram about legacy.
Yeah.
Now, can this legacy? Can people use it? Are they going to use it, or is it just for you to almost feel to keep your name here because
Right.
kind of an ego
Essentially,
thing?
that's what it is.
All
It's an
people
ego
remember is how you treat them.
thing.
Yeah, and it's
That's
like,
it.
And essentially, why wouldn't you want to go out with a whole bunch of people showing up to your funeral being like, fuck,
That was a good dude.
was a fucking gangster.
Yeah.
yeah,
Good
that's-
fucking dude.
Yeah, that's me. Wherever we go afterwards, I'm coming in with a rock star applause like this. Like, not just a little golf clap.
Yeah, no,
like
I
everybody's
agree.
like, the big wigs up there. Or
No, we're getting the
wherever
penthouse.
Are like, hey guys, that's how you live life right there.
Yep.
You see that cat right there
Yep.
limping in, barely crawling in.
Yeah.
Barely can. That's almost
Hey,
on-
he's
almost
hurting,
on-
but he's
almost
happy.
on fire. He's still smoking. That guy. That's how you
Yeah.
do it.
I agree. Bullboy, nice of you to join us again. Are you,
Dude, my
what's going on
allergies,
today?
they're
Yeah,
so
this guy's
bad.
over here sneezing and
Horrible.
snorting and
I had
farting
to hop
and
off
shit.
because I was just like
Yeah.
sneezing. I couldn't keep myself
What'd you
together.
do last night, dude? What did
Dude,
she look
I hung
like?
out at my friend's house and he has a cat.
Yeah, what'd she
Mitchell
look like?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, pussy.
I swear.
He's talking about pussy.
Yeah.
Ask Mitchell Falk, dude. He has a cat.
I was gonna say, like, do you have any questions for RYNO? Is there? We haven't heard you talk once. I've heard you
what
sneeze
Kleenex do
8
you
times
use,
today.
What clean it? Yeah.
Dude, not even the Kleenex. I was using the paper towels. It was freaking ruining my nose. It started
Yeah.
hurting.
Nah, he got really bummed when we were talking about shitty fast food.
Yeah,
That's all he
honestly,
eats.
that's
Yeah,
the
no,
way
it hurt my
He lives at
feelings, so I had to
Chick-fil-A.
go out
Yeah,
and
he had to go.
microwave
Yeah, he's like, I
something.
don't want to hear
He's
this.
like, fuck
yeah.
this guy,
he,
man.
actually,
Yeah.
he started tearing
Just
up
like
a
your
little
other
bit.
buddy left on the porn. Oh,
Oh, no, hey, yeah,
shit!
well,
I forgot to turn that off.
And
Yeah.
we got, yeah.
Shane's up there right now, just getting.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
seen how many tripods are in this house?
Yeah, I know.
You know damn well he's got one set up up
Oh,
there.
for sure. Just to film himself. you know?
Exactly.
I ain't filming nobody else.
So I want to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You are, I would say, one of the higher level trainers in motocross nowadays. At least
I would
from
say
an outside
I
standpoint.
would say coach.
Are you
A
certified?
trainer can be
Yeah, weird term.
Are you
trainer.
certified?
Yeah.
certified. Yeah. Well, yes, I
I think
guess
you
with
were
the,
technically,
With,
but-
what's the
Yeah,
with the
USMC.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did that, but
Yeah.
I don't see anything back from it. I really don't.
No.
You know, they send me an email every once in a while that someone on a 50 is interested, and I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
I got in this to change the sport. I got in this to open people's minds.
Yeah.
I got in this to, maybe break down some doors that people are afraid of, not just to be. I mean, really.
Yeah. One of my questions for you is, what does a kid have to do to make it nowadays? Because nowadays is it's a fucking tough game nowadays.
Well, I guess the ingredients of to be good is the same since day one, and that's your approach. One is your approach. How disciplined are you? How consistent are you? How much fortitude do you have? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because it takes discipline to shut everything else off that could be fun or exciting. Even like a girl, like with Noah, I say, hey, you get a girlfriend? I go, you better pick between me or her, because you do not have a girlfriend until you make it. I go, because if you get a girlfriend, I'm done. Because I'm not going to allow some little chick to come in and take 75% of his concentration away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So now I only have 25% of it.
Yep.
You're never going to make it.
Yeah.
And if you do, you're going to be less than. I want this kid to just
Right.
be hungry. Now, if you want to go play with it, go play with it. But you're not having somebody take your attention where you're always worried about it. So anyways, you got to have that discipline. One, you got to have consistency. You got to wake up every day and push that reset button. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. And because, again, there's only one way to be, pretty much good at anything, and that's be working at it consistently.
Yeah.
And then fortitude. You got to be able to power through those days that you don't feel good, power through those races that you sucked, power through those injuries, power through those times that maybe you're in a little bit of a slump. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You just got to power through that, and that's that fortitude. So those ingredients are the same. And so, yeah, is it maybe a little bit harder to make it now? I don't know.
I think it goes.
I don't know if it is or not.
Yeah, I
really,
think it
because
does
again,
go hand in
when
hand
I came
because-
up, I came up, I had Mike Brown, McGrath, Emig,
Lamson.
Chad Pedersen, Lawrence, Doug Henry,
Lamson.
Lamson. I mean, all these guys, we all came up together. So,
Right.
it's so I don't know if it's any harder. I think maybe it's harder just because people are putting more money into their bikes and this and that.
Yeah.
I think it's harder to make it almost financially, than it was, because again, what do? You train, you ride a motorcycle. What do you do to get good here nowadays? You train and you ride a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it. You know what I mean? And again, if everybody's riding the motorcycle the same, which they should if they're being taught the right way, and everybody's being trained in maybe a higher level than we did, but being trained that way, well then there's nothing different. Now maybe if you put that to somebody in my day, well maybe they'd have a little bit of advantage, just because there's more understanding in the sport.
Yep.
You know, there's more experience being shared and stuff like that. You know, back in our day, we didn't have the social media and this and that, so it was just like whatever you could get at a magazine or you saw on a videotape.
Right.
But you know, what are they doing right now? They do motos, they do sprints, they work on technique.
Yeah.
You can see everything on
What
social
do they do
media.
training wise? They lift weights, they ride a bicycle, they run. Okay.
They're lucky if they lift weights.
But that's what we did.
Right.
That's
Right.
what Bob Hanna did.
Yep.
So, you know, again, everybody in the sport just, I don't know, just sometimes the sport is just a little bit kind of
Soft.
not soft, but just almost like a little bit, I don't know what we're looking for, but just kind of
Like going through the motion.
Just unaware, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I was gonna say
Going
dumb,
through the
but I
motions.
didn't want to
Yeah.
say dumb.
yeah, just kind of going through, just unaware.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I think a lot of what I've taken from what you've said so far is one of the main routes to having success in motocross and anything in life is discipline.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and the other thing too is following the way everybody says it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
You know, you go down this team green, you go down this orange brigade, you go down this, you go down
Everyone
that.
does the same
And to
shit.
me, that's almost one of the worst roads to go down.
I was gonna say
It's
that
the
doesn't
worst
seem
roads
like
to
it's
go
the
down
best route
because
nowadays.
these guys don't give a shit about you except championships.
Yeah.
So they will hold you back and hold you back, and just to get championships,
And then drop you.
and then drop you, just like
Yep.
Boost Plug. He got dropped. He doesn't have a ride with Kawasaki,
No way.
I didn't know that.
way.
and they held him back to
Doesn't
for
Ryder
intermediate again
too next year?
and then they just said, no, we don't have room for you. So,
Wow.
and this is why myself and Ulf, after Loretta's, when Noah got off 80s, where I'm like, hey, I just told him my plan. And he goes, all right, fuck it. He goes, let's do it. So he went out and bought all his own Hondas, you know, and then all of a sudden, one little thing came from Honda, another thing came from Honda started opening up this amateur thing. You know, it's almost like we've almost created this this road for Noah and Parker and all these things through SLR
Yep.
Honda.
Oh yeah.
And so we went down our own road so we could make our own decisions. We could do their own races. We didn't have this holding him back, putting him on a 125.
You
Right.
pushed him
intermediate
forward.
class.
He skipped B, didn't he, or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, he just went to pro.
Or
what's
skipped A.
Again, what's
Yeah.
the difference from B, 1 year
He
of B,
skipped
and
A.
1 year of
Yeah.
pro, 1 year A, then 2 years of A?
Right.
I wanted him to go up to a higher level just because you're learning from better riders.
Mm-hmm.
2, he's not going to have that pressure of having to win, just moving up to a bigger bike.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not having that pressure of having to beat these kids that he was already racing against, and maybe he wouldn't or couldn't, and so now he's starting to, question himself.
Yep.
You know, so there's no difference because the B class is just as fast as sometimes the A class,
For sure.
right?
Sometimes faster.
Yeah. So 2, and then 2 years of A, but then you can make money, man.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, already he's
Yep.
made a bunch of money just from winning these little A classes races or local races and
Right.
stuff like that. So yeah, and then now he's been riding a 450. So it's you make these and again you never hold back, because if you hold back, then you're never kind of springing forward.
Right.
You always stay on the cusp, that cusp. You know
Keep
what I mean?
moving forward.
Of not too much, but not too little.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
never holding back.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and too many of these riders get held back from these companies and don't ever make it.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that's the correct way to go down, because you're not really getting involved with a team that has any direction except just how many championships did we get at Mammoth, Loretta's, Ponca City.
Right.
That's all they care about.
Yeah.
They don't care about even the names. You know?
Yeah. For a lot of people that, are listening to this, I would assume most people probably know already, but RYNO has this kid named Noah Viney who is an absolute little fucking gangster.
He's
When
seriously your prodigy.
He is
to a
your
T. To a
When I
T.
first moved out here, Noah was on a Super Mini.
Yep. So,
Good. Not anything special. in
that was
my
only a
opinion.
few years ago too.
That was only a
A
few
year
years
ago.
ago. I haven't been out here that long. Where he is at now is so fucking crazy. Like,
In that
and
short
I-
amount of
and
time.
I feel like maybe not enough people have really got to see the whole process and the journey of it. But what you've done with that kid is so crazy. So I guess for the people that don't exactly know exactly what we're talking about. I said exactly a lot in this sentence.
Yeah, you got that word.
So
down.
exactly.
Exactly. Explain who Noah is and how your guys' deal came about and sort of what you've done with him in a couple years.
I guess, life brings you the right person at the right time, so to speak. And I was kind of at a point like, you know what, I'd like to take somebody and kind of groom them through their career, because I am a very good guide. I've raised 2 children, very, 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 very respectful, honorable children.
I've heard nothing but great things about your kids.
Yeah, my kids are amazing. So I feel like I have that gift to be able to guide people, and that's why I say I'm more of a coach, more of a guide than I am just some kind of trainer. You know what I mean? A trainer is just somebody to me that read a book and passed some tests, or following somebody else's way. A coach, a leader is somebody that's kind of is teaching from experience, from that. So Hoodie, everybody knows Hoodie.
Yeah,
Hoodie's going to come on here at some point.
Yeah, I know. Hoodie. And so he was saying, hey, there's a guy named Ulf and Cheryl that have a kid named Noah that wants to talk to you about training him. I said, okay. I had no idea who this kid was. So I met him out at their place when they're at their Supercross track, and Noah's riding his Super Mini on the Supercross track, and just a little baby kid,
tiny,
tiny. And just, I just saw how he moved. I saw how he rode. I saw, just kind of this flow, this softness to him. And I'm like, all right,
I can mold this kid.
I'm like, cool, I can mold this kid, because that's what I look for. I don't look for speed. I look for the movement of the body.
Yeah.
And if the movement of the body is nice, it's subtle, it's smooth. They ride with, initiation, meaning they're moving before the motorcycle. Yep. They're not reacting to the motorcycle.
They understand it. They just need
from
to.
The past.
Yep.
Yeah. You have to initiate everything. That's why they can't. That's why. If you want to try to measure the reactions of a motocross racer, you can't. It's too fast.
Yeah.
It's too fast because they're initiating before anything even happened, right? Now, a slower rider, you're going to see that the bike does something, and then they do something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But a top rider, the bike's going to do something, and their body's already doing something else, getting ready for that next movement because they know it's coming. So anyways, I saw that, and so I said, you know what? Okay. I go, let's do this. And, this is the deal, da, da, da. And then we started in the first race we went to. I get there, and I'm like, well, why are we parked out there? Maybe I just don't like to be next to somebody. After the first couple of races, I was like, now I know why we park out there. He was just a little baby. I mean, just throwing tantrums and just this locking himself in the van and all that. And I let the day go by, and then at the end of the day, I just said, hey, man, I go,
can't do that.
I know why you guys were parked out there. And I go, that's not going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
And so I've almost helped him more emotionally, more mentally than I've helped him anything.
Yeah. But that's huge.
Of giving him a direction, of telling him why we get like this, giving him a reason of what happens when you do that. Just really speaking to him about the mental, emotional side, because that's where 90% of these riders go wrong, is that the mental, emotional side of it. It's so polluted.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's so many riders with talent and potential, but the mental, emotional side is suffocating that.
Right.
1, because of their parents. 2, because of their coach. 3, because they don't have direction. Because again, most of these trainers, they're not good in the head.
Right.
They're not good with the emotional game, and that's a computer program. You can have a factory bike, but if you have a ignition that's causing it to sputter, well,
does no good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that, and then just everything was kind of a push and then a pause, and then a push, then a pause, a push, then a pause. So pushing forward, and then to a point where we got to stay here for a little bit. Pushing forward, okay, stay here for a little bit. And then, at the end of the year, he won the last race of the year on Super Mini against Deegan, which was really good.
Crazy. Beat him straight up.
Yeah, beat him straight up,
Yeah.
And, again, hey, one race maybe out of 15, but still beat him.
That's
so the
last one. People only remember the last
race of the year, last race of your Super Mini career, you won.
Yep.
You're the fastest rider in the world.
Yep.
It's good. And then everybody's like, oh, you got to go to 125s. I'm like, no bullshit.
250.
We're going 250F, and we're going to do it right. And we did it my way. I had him ride off-road for 2 months and just do drills and this and this. Then we got a stock bike. Then he, started getting on the bigger bike. Of course, he's going to grow, But I can't speed up I can't speed up nature.
Growth. Yeah.
I can't speed up this tree growing. I can't speed up his growth spurt. So I had to be patient last year. So last year you didn't hear me get upset one single time. There wasn't even an issue. It's just everything was, or actually not last year, this year. Everything was just getting the feet wet. Yep. Everything was just experience. Everything was just getting used to this bike. You know, I pushed you forward, you know, into a class, the pro class, but I'm going to hold you back on the expectation.
Right.
Not drop you down and hold you back, but then put more expectation on you to win.
That's smart.
So I wanted to do it the other way. And so, you know, he's progressed. And then also with progression, you're going to have your ups and downs. And he had kind of a down around the Mammoth Loretta's time, just, you know, just a mental block, you know, maybe a speed block, maybe little things like that. But then after Loretta's, it was boom, now a big upswing. And then, you know, so after Loretta's, we got through this first whole year. And I said, okay, from here on out, now I expect this. I expect you to win. Yep. There's no more me making excuses. There's no more me, you know, just allowing, you know, dumb mistakes and slow races happen. I expect you to win. And so at the Combine, he won.
Yep.
You know, now he's doing some off-road race. We got him on a 450. I mean, dude, he rides his 450. Unbelievable.
What's he weigh? What's like?
He's about 125.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You know, but again.
But it doesn't matter. Carmichael was small too.
Carmichael was small. Villapoto was small.
Yeah.
Jeff Ward was small. You know.
I mean, Stewart was tiny.
You know, Eric Gabors was small. But the thing is like, because, you know, he probably might ride 450 next year also in the amateur races. Because why not?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, to me, the guy who won the Open Pro class at Loretta's, a vet that's off-road rider, he wouldn't have done that on a 250F. I mean, Cole's riding better than he ever has. But it wouldn't have happened in my day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
But you riding a 450 against these 250Fs, well, yeah, you're going to get a good start every time. You can ride so much easier because you just got to roll through the corner and point and shoot on these 450s.
Yep.
And you can beat a 250F.
100%.
And so this whole sport about riding this Open Pro class on a 450 but on a 250F, it's just
pointless kind of.
What are you guys doing? You know what I mean?
Well, it's a disadvantage.
And so but you can't put these kids on a 450. Well, what if you taught them to ride correctly?
Right.
Yeah.
And a smaller rider actually rides these bikes better because they have to ride them correctly.
Yeah.
Just like a Jeff Ward, a Gabors, a Villapoto, you know, a Carmichael, maybe whatever. You have to respect it more.
Right.
And so there's only two guys that can really ride these 450s over their head, and that's a Tomac and a Hurlings.
Yeah.
Everybody else has to really respect it. Just those two guys can ride these bikes over their head.
You're very right.
You know, because if you look at Sexton, you look at Lawrence, they ride these bikes very softly.
Yep.
Very soft.
And if they get over their head a little bit,
very soft,
they crash.
You know? Yeah, I mean, some things, just stupid things happen. Seem like to Sexton, you know, not like he was
I think
riding
it's a
over his
mental
head,
block a little.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, things happen so fast in motocross, it's kind of hard to say, oh, it was this. Maybe a couple of them, yes. Maybe a couple of them that just motocross, you know, because you've come off the track and maybe a mechanic or something will do what happened and go, I don't know, dude, I was just on the ground. I don't know. I just on the ground. Just happened.
But this year he stepped up so much more than he was expected to with Eli. Like, I feel like that will make him a better rider his whole career.
100%. So, 100%. Those two kids are the future, you know. So with Noah, so now we're still just progressing. He's grown a lot, you know. He's tall now.
Yeah.
You know, he's not much smaller than me, and but now we're just waiting for the, you know, kind of the balls to drop.
Right.
You know, everybody hits their growth spurt, their you know, hits that kind of level at a different time. I hit it when I was young. Some people don't hit it till they're 18, 19 years old, and so he's a little bit of a late bloomer. But when it happens, like, you don't know his family. His brother is like one of the top, you know, recruits in the Rangers. I mean, in the United States.
I've heard that.
Fucking badass. His dad's badass. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
And so when this and you take this shirt off. I mean,
he's jacked.
He's a specimen.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like big old muscles, but like I guess his dad took him to.
He's pretty jacked though.
Yeah, he went to the facility over here with Charles Dow, and
Icon.
Yeah.
And so all the kids were training, and everybody, you know, it's hot. They took their shirt off, and all these other kids that are racing or whatever, just little softies, you know, little pudgy,
cookie cutter.
And Charles looked over at Noah and goes like, "Holy shit!"
He is.
I guess Rhino's doing something
a little,
right.
like,
just shredded.
Yeah.
You know, and I said that's my thing with my guys. I go, if you do not look like a specimen training with me, then you're doing it wrong.
Right.
I want every single one of you guys to look like a specimen, meaning you take your shirt off, people have to double take.
Yeah.
Because the one, then you're doing it right, and two, that's a confidence booster.
100%.
You know, anything that you can do. I don't care again if you got a big old dick and you got to show that.
Show it
just to get more confidence. Then fucking show it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have that thing hanging like a side pipe, whatever it is, just to
Gray
get that
sweatpants.
extra little. In you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's what it is, the little thing. So, you know, now we're at this point of this going into this next year, and you know, so it's good. And
He's
then I have Parker, you know, Parker Ross, working with Parker. He's another kid that's super talented, you know, super good, hard worker, tough as shit. And then I just brought this new kid on from Montana. Tall kid, kind of reminds me, has the same body, is kind of like Jet. Only 15 years old, already riding 450, rides 250. We've only been racing for 2 years, and he's probably, you know, not even 2 years because of Montana. They only can ride 6 months a year.
Right.
And at Kauai the other day, he's only like 6 seconds off of these two guys.
Wow.
Yeah. And in the beginning, he's only been training with him for 2 weeks now, and I think the beginning was like almost 15 seconds off.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so he's
crazy.
progressing very fast.
It's a lot to work with.
So I told him, I said, by the end of the next year, you're going to be the top intermediate.
I have
You know?
there's a battery.
And so but I put this in these kids' heads.
Right.
I put this in these kids' heads. You know, like even Noah, I said, 3 years, you're winning me a championship.
Right.
In 3 fucking years, I did. You got that? Do you understand that?
Right.
And he's like, yeah. I said, okay. I put it, and I don't let him ever not think that. I don't ever let him not remember
You
that.
make them believe that
Oh,
themselves.
yeah, they know it, you know.
Yeah.
So I just beat it in their heads, and because it's what it's what I feel.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying hey, what do you guys want to do, and no, I don't give a shit about your goals. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I know I can get out of you. You know.
Right.
And you can just
Well, if you don't believe it, what the fuck are we doing
their
here?
eyes light up, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, someone has this much.
That goes
Someone
in my
believes in
face.
me more than
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
coming from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's fun. You know, I enjoy training these kids. I enjoy watching them, you know, progress. And so that's the journey I'm in right now.
Noah's interesting because he's really shy.
Oh, dude, he don't talk for shit.
He don't
No.
talk. So when
He
did
Very
don't talk.
quiet.
And that's he's for me. He's the best little soldier there is.
Yeah.
There's no questioning. I say what I need to say, and I walk away.
He listens.
when did you pick
Never
up
one
on,
time. Why? How long? When? Nothing ever.
Right.
Never, ever, ever,
Yeah.
ever has he ever even come back to me with anything. And also it's because he has, what I say is the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Because I asked him, I said, have I ever been wrong? And he goes, no. And I
Yeah.
said, exactly. Because I'm never going to tell you something that I don't know is true or I haven't experienced.
Yeah.
Right?
When did you pick up on him he literally seems like he listens to every fucking detail you
And I
give
think he
him.
does everything you tell. Like he
Oh, yeah,
eats what you
because-
tell him to eat.
Yeah.
He trains.
He's in the ice
That's why I
bath,
said he's
in
your
the
prodigy
sauna, he's
to a
doing
T.
this. Well, it's just because he's,
And it's working.
you know, and
now
I think in
see
the
him-
beginning with anybody, there's going to be a little bit of doubt.
For sure.
Right.
But when even just, hey, I think we need to go 2 clicks on that front fork. It looks a little soft. I said, just do it.
Yeah.
And they do it, and they come back. How was it? No. Oh, it was better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the doubt's
hey,
gone.
I think the back end maybe a little high. Whatever. Let's just lower it a
Now
little
when he
bit.
hears you
How
talk.
is that better? And then, hey, you know, start doing this, start doing that. You know, hey, we technique-wise,
Yeah.
you know, all these different things. So again, I'm not throwing anything at him that I want to get for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's only to get the best out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not me.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
when
I'm not
you
doing
have-
it to try to pat myself. I don't need to put my arm around anybody to say, hey, look who I'm training.
For sure.
I don't need to do that.
And you've never
I
done
could
that
give
at
two
all.
shits. I could give 2 shits.
When you're
You know
not
what I
trying
mean?
to take not to discredit, like Alden Baker or any of those guys, but like you're not taking any top name
Well, let's
and
just
then
say
winning
AJ, let's
championships.
just say AJ Catanzaro. How about that one?
Yeah, okay.
That's the one that takes the cake right now.
Yeah.
I think his feet are hanging out of Lawrence's asses, you know?
Right.
And
Yeah.
What you've done with him is pretty fucking remarkable, and I think he went from not really being on the radar to
No.
now if you don't see him winning races in the next couple of years, I think you're delusional.
Yeah. No, he'll definitely be there because his technique, his approach is so much different than anybody else's.
Yeah.
So much almost above anybody. You know, his technique is another level than kind of what I'm teaching. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's brought into something. He's put his own little kind of flair on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I also seen that
And the biggest thing is when you get to Supercross.
Yeah.
Wait till he gets to Supercross. He's better in Supercross than he is outdoors.
No shit.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
He's got that track
perfect.
at his house, and
He's
people don't really
perfect.
see him ride it that much.
I
But
know.
Yeah, he's perfect.
Yeah.
That's
know?
crazy.
But again, we started riding Supercross and this, and what was my rules? You do not skim the whoops. You do not skim the whoops. Okay, what did one guy that trains one of the big teams come to me? He goes, "Oh, hey, you need to get your guy to skim the whoops." I said, "For what?" "Well, because," I said, "is he racing this year?" "No." I said, "Okay." And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm like,
Why
what
send him
am
out
I
and get
gonna?
him hurt?
Oh, just so you can say I skimmed the whoops?
so you can watch him.
So I can go visit him in the fucking hospital because he wasn't ready for it?
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is most people only know how to skim the whoops. And if they can't skim the whoops, what do they do at the practice tracks? They go around them.
Yeah.
And they don't have nothing. They have no answer at the track. So my guy knows how to jump through them, wheel tap through them, triple through them.
Get through 'em
do
as
all that.
fast.
Well,
and
in this
comfortable as
generation,
possible.
I don't
Yeah.
know what's really changed, but like with Supercross, out of the 17 rounds, I swear at least 10 to 12 of them, they're jumping the whoops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're breaking down more, and people aren't even skimming them anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
he's bop,
but
bop, bop, bop,
guys
bop,
don't
bop.
know how to jump them. That's why like Marvin, I feel like, is one of the best whoop jumpers I've ever seen.
because he couldn't go through the whoops good.
Exactly.
So he had to learn another
Figured
way.
out a way to get
He did.
through
And
fast.
that's the
Yeah.
thing, is
Cooper's
take-
good
But
at
he
it,
can
too.
jump as
I go-
quick as freaking Craig
Yeah,
can skim.
I go
Like,
take a
almost,
step, take
but-
a step back, everybody. Again,
Yep.
that guy's idea was push everybody forward because all his riders are just going to be like a, kind of like a dirty tear off. Once they get a little bit
Right.
dirty, they start just flick them off, fly on the ground. I go, that's not my goal. My goal isn't to watch this kid get hurt like I did.
Yeah.
And so end of this year, I asked his dad, I go, hey, how many bars did we bend this year from a crash? He goes, maybe one.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
One pair of bars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing. It's not already creating this fear in the back of the head of this
Right.
rider of not wanting to crash, or all these scary crashes that now he's always bringing the past into the present, meaning what if, what could, what might. Well, now he's going to be a hesitant rider, and that's what happened to me. That's what happened to Kennard. That's what happened to Stewart. I don't give a shit. Anybody says once you start crashing that much,
Yeah.
you start fearing
Wondering.
crashing, or just not wanting to crash, but what's in the conversation, crash.
It's in the back of your mind no
You know
matter
what I'm saying?
what.
And so it's plain and simple, dude. It's plain and
Yeah.
simple. And you saw it in James.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean, once it started happening, man, it was just a shit show.
And he
Right.
started to go a little backwards at that
Oh yeah,
point.
he went backwards, and because it's only natural to start doing that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And then his technique, how he rode, didn't allow him to ride with any kind of tension or hesitation on the motorcycle. So once he started getting that hesitation, maybe the way he rode so flat-footed, that the bike would just spit him off all over the place.
Yeah.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, I mean, and again, the proof's in the pudding. Just go back
Right.
and let's watch the races and see the transition.
Right.
And you can't say that it's wrong. You know?
Right.
I see you got Noah in with Eli Tomac for a little bit of training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did you guys get out of that? What did Eli think of Noah?
Because
I could see Noah being a little mini Eli.
Yeah, I mean, he would never ride like Eli. You know, he'd be much more methodical. You know,
But grittiness.
Yeah. Just
want
I mean,
to
he's
fucking
that
want to
way.
win that
Just
bad.
I wanted him to see what the King did.
For sure.
You know, because I used to train Eli, and I tell everybody, I go, man, if you see Eli train in the gym, he goes, it would make you guys look like you're just a bunch of little, little slobs.
Yeah.
You know, we would have stations, and we'd go from one station to the next. He'd be sitting there waiting for me, just like
What's next? What's next?
just going, waiting for me to put the pin in the thing, or put the weight down, and just bam, and then he just, it's like there was so much intensity.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I go, look at you fuckers. You know, you do this, then you walk over to the next one, and this. I go, no.
Run to the next
No,
one,
no, no, no,
motherfucker.
no. I go, so I wanted him to see how he went about it.
Yep.
And so what he got out of it, he was blown away that how little Eli actually did. You know what I mean?
He just did it
But
right.
Eli's at a point now that it's so programmed in him, he doesn't have to train that hard.
Yeah.
He needs just to be rested on the weekend.
Yeah.
And so, you know, he liked how intensity was, but just also how cool he was. They got along really well. And then Eli was stoked just to watch him ride. He goes, man, these new styles, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, man, he rides really well. And the lines he picks and stuff like that, he was pretty impressed.
No shit.
Yeah.
But he's improved so much and grew so much since that time. So
Yep.
next year, we're trying to get that where, Eli that's Eli's personal track out here is Noah's.
That's sick.
So we're going to try to,
I think that'll go a long ways for Noah.
Oh yeah. 100%.
That'll go a long ways.
Yeah. So, and then that's the thing is like at his Supercross track, told his dad, I go, nobody rides it that's slower than Noah, cause we don't need a bunch of people out there. So no one rides it that's slower than Noah.
Yeah.
With Noah.
Yeah.
Noah's always going to be somewhat the slowest one until there's just nobody slower than him.
That's smart. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, why bring somebody, why allow anybody, we don't need anybody out there.
Right.
So why bring somebody that's slower than him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Always someone.
Should always train with someone better.
Yeah, always someone he can learn from.
Yeah, always push yourself.
Again, if you're not going to get Canelo, boxing, Canelo to spar with some amateur. He's going to spar with one of the best guys that resembles that guy that he's fighting.
Yeah.
Same the same thing with jiu-jitsu and all that.
Yeah.
You're not going to just go wrestle with somebody that sucks.
You get nothing out of it.
Yeah, you get nothing out of it.
And if anything, all you're doing is just helping that person, which is cool sometimes if that's what your goal is.
Exactly.
But Noah's not out there to bring up the next amateur.
Right. Yeah.
No, my goal is to do that with a few, but that's not my goal for him.
Yeah.
Well, that's sick. I'm fucking stoked to see what Noah does.
Yeah.
We don't have a whole lot of time left because I see we're running out of batteries, but fuck, right now I could talk to you for hours. What, in your opinion, in a somewhat shortened summary, what the fuck is wrong with today's world?
With who?
With today's world.
Oh, Jesus.
Why is today's world so fucked?
Well, I think it's one, like we talked about, is being too comfortable. You know what I mean? It's too comfortable because once you become comfortable, you stop being kind of creative. You stop being energetic. You stop kind of chasing those limits. And then once you start becoming almost too comfortable, from having so many options, well, then, like you say, you become stale, right?
Yeah.
And then you become just, like I say, everybody's too entertained right now.
Right.
Too entertained that they're not looking at this world. They're not even actually looking at this world. They're not even looking at nature. They're so entertained by this world of what's on YouTube and Netflix and social media and all this stuff that they're not even looking at the earth anymore.
Yeah.
They're not. When I bring people to my house and I show them, hey, the sun this and the that, and this is December there, and that's where the sun is, and the moon will do that, and the stars, and they're just like, what? I'm like, yeah, dude, this is how it works, and then this will start.
There's actually a lot going on out there.
And you can really, there's a lot going on, and so I just feel that people are kind of, almost becoming delusional that way, following the wrong things, following people that they think are important, think that are popular, think they have it going on, but they haven't hung out with them.
Yeah.
Go hang out with those people. Go hang out with people, and I'll tell you what anyone's real God is. Right? If you pick up your phone first thing in the morning, there's your God.
Yeah.
If you have a problem with eating, there's your God. If you have a problem with porn, there's your God. You know what I mean? What you do all the time, that's your true God. And not just the book and the place you read and go to on just Sunday. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, don't be immature about this.
Right.
The food that we're eating, is really causing issues on everybody. The prescriptions people are taking are causing big problems. The fear that's getting forced into us by all this media of all this stuff that's going around on Earth. These fake viruses, this war that's come on. It's happening for a reason. It's a big show. Everything's a big show.
It's a ploy.
And so that I just think that the world is it's lost its way so bad that there's almost no way to fix it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no way to fix it, and everybody wants to fix everybody else, and everybody wants to blame everybody else, and nobody wants to look in the mirror and take responsibility and fix themselves.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because once you fix yourself, well, then you start to fix everybody else, so to speak.
Yep.
Instead of going out there, some person trying to tell me, don't, take this vaccine or whatever, but then she's 250 pounds. It's like, well, wait a minute, hold on.
You're going to talk to me about health.
Yeah. And,
literally.
Or somebody selling some nutritional thing and they're overweight, or just, you know what I mean? Just, you gotta walk the talk, my friend.
Yeah.
You gotta walk the talk. And so, there's not just one thing. It's like a wheel. A wheel has, many spokes on it, and every spoke has to be hit with the same torque to make that wheel true.
Yep.
If you only pay attention to a few and forget a few, well, then now you're going to have an untrue wheel.
You're unaligned
meaning
wheel.
you have an untrue life thing, and there's a lot of wobbles in it.
Yep.
But if you can hit everything with
That's
that
a great
same,
comparison.
That is a really
same
good
torque, well, now you're going to have a smooth running life.
And everything's connected.
You're going to hit a rock. You're going to hit a square edge. You might get a flat tire.
Yep.
But that rim is still true, meaning you're still on your path. You've never had a blame. You've never, you never stepped away and never went astray.
Yeah.
Right.
So any challenge that comes to you, and that's where, you get to in life is where you almost kind of arrive, is when you can kind of almost say, is any challenge that life has set in front of me, I've never blamed it. I've never walked away from it, and I've never went astray from it, down the wrong path.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, it's hard to say that. I just think the biggest thing is there's too much choice.
Yeah.
We're making it too much, just too complex. We need to make ourselves more simple again.
Yeah.
More simple. How about maybe be focused on 2 things, not 20 things?
Yeah.
How about try to be good at 1 thing and not, 5 things?
Yeah.
Yep.
And also try not to be anything than you're not already.
Right.
Yeah.
If that makes sense,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
what you're trying to become and where you're at, there's a gap.
Yeah.
I want to become this, but I'm here. But in between that gap, there's a fear of not making it. There's an anxiety of what it's going to take to get there. So you're creating all these problems because of that gap of what you want to become
Yeah.
and what you are. You haven't even accepted who you are yet. And what you want to become is usually a fictitious thing because you're seeing somebody else do it, or somebody's telling you, or this is what you think is going to bring happiness or bring popularity, so to speak.
Yep.
Right? Because then you get into the wins and the thens. When I do this, when I get this, then I'll do this.
Yeah.
Well, now that's another trap. Another trap. Everybody's waiting for this perfect mate to come so then they'll feel love.
Right.
Okay, cool. But then 4 years down the road, you found out that woman never stopped fucking her ex. Or, man, California is this and this. You moved to Florida. Well, hey, a hurricane come. Now your dream house is gone.
Yeah.
You know what? If I make money, well, now I'm not going to have to stress. Well, now you have 20 employees, son.
More stress.
Yeah. And now you have more stress, and now you're drinking and you're taking this just to cover up that stress, and now you got a problem.
Yep.
You're creating disaster.
Yep.
So, we're getting outside of ourselves so much just because this world is trying to make you something that you're not. I guess. Sorry, you said to make it easy and quick.
Right.
That's a pretty complex
right.
question.
No, that's a great fucking answer.
Before we go, I have one thing, and we're kind of jumping around, but my last thing is, what is your thoughts on Colt Nichols to factory Honda?
That was
because that was a surprise. I think for a lot of people,
that was a big surprise. I think
Huge.
I think it was probably a huge surprise.
And
for
he's
him.
been out all year, so
I think that was probably a bigger surprise for him than anybody.
Yeah, no, it
to
is.
get the call from maybe whoever.
I don't think he expected that
from Lars to say, "Hey, this is Lars from Factory Honda." Yeah.
Yeah. Is this April Fool's?
Hey, we want to give you a ride.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I almost had a heart attack.
For sure.
Yeah.
So
I think it's good though.
Earned
to
though.
me, again, I think Colt's a good rider, and maybe he could ride the 450, good, but it's gonna take a year.
Yeah.
Or more, you know what I mean? And he only has a 1-year contract and he's out.
Yeah,
Right.
Supercross
'cause
only.
they're not, but unless Sexton goes somewhere, next year he doesn't have a ride.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he has to. It's a kind of a make it or break it, or it's just hey, we need somebody.
Right.
We need somebody.
I think it's a good opportunity for him, though.
Yeah. I mean, I hope he does good. I mean, Colt's a super cool dude.
Well, in the Star deal, he kind of got shafted a little bit. Like they just didn't have room.
Fuck, who hasn't?
Right. I know. Exactly.
Everybody
Who hasn't?
does.
But-
Everything bubbles up, man. Everything bubbles to the surface, and that whole approach and way is
Right.
treating the riders like they're tear-offs is not going to work after a while.
No.
Yeah.
And it's starting to kind of happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because, so yeah, I think hopefully it's gonna be good because you want people that get opportunities to really to thrive with that.
For
That's
sure.
cool,
Exactly.
100%. I would love
That's
to see
cool.
him kill it.
I would love to see Colt do good.
Yeah. So
So last thing for us,
Yep.
we heard you're starting your own podcast, which we are all very excited about.
Mm-hmm.
What are your sort of plans with it? What do you want to do with your
What's
own
your vision?
podcast? What's your vision
You know
on
what?
it?
I don't know. I did some stuff the other week at the studio down there, and then yesterday I went and looked at it and this and that, and I'm just, I'm still kind of stuck. I'm still kind of stuck if I want to do it because, one, what am I truly talking about that nobody else is talking about? Two, you got to be so freaking consistent with it to make it grow. Three, there's so many damn podcasts that
there are.
How are you ever going to even be recognized, so to speak? And I do not like to do anything unless it's going to be worthwhile.
Yeah. Let me tell you from an outside standpoint, I think you should 100% go through with it because we've been here for, Boy, almost 2 hours we've been sitting here. I have another 3 hours of shit to talk to you about. Like, it doesn't end. So
it all flows.
I think you're
easy.
somebody that you don't even need a guest. I think if you go in and you just fucking
stories of your life,
fucking, you just have so much that it's so easy to listen to you and just get fucking zoned into what you're saying. And there's not many people that.
Well, and you're already, a lot of people, your following's pretty big, and a lot of people respect you, so they're gonna want to listen.
I don't know what happened. I haven't
even people that aren't fans, they'll want to know.
My number hasn't changed for like 6 months.
Start a podcast.
Like I'm like, what is? Did someone fucking ban me? Like nobody's allowed
Instagram's weird, man.
Haters become fans.
Nobody follows me anymore. It's like, what the fuck,
Instagram's a weird thing,
Yeah.
and we can talk after this, and like I said, I really want to try to push you to make sure that happens.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna definitely do a podcast. And I've talked about it, and I think like say my first guest might be Hoodie.
Yeah,
and
that'd be good.
And again, it's not. I'm not looking to put big names on there. Yeah, big names. And why do people put big names? Not like they're interested in them. It's only to boost their own podcast.
Exactly.
It is.
Yep. Well, okay. Well, then that's stupid.
Yep.
I want people to come on that are actually going to maybe change somebody's world or life because of their own experiences. And Hoodie he's a character, and he's made a big transition in his life from going sober and doing his thing. That's amazing, So I'd like to bring that on,
And even for you, I think
like a J-Law and stuff like that. I want people that have something interesting to say.
Yep.
I
think something worth hearing.
Yeah, I think for you, if you can get anybody on that is a good talker and has a story. You have people dialed. You have people that are gonna fucking listen for as long as.
Well, Hoodie and J-Law right there are good.
Yeah, and then I want to bring on. I just want to talk about my own stuff, like you said. I want to sometimes talk about technique.
100%.
Maybe sometimes talk about the race.
Yep.
So I want
recap
if people
stuff.
come to my podcast, they're like, okay, what's he gonna talk about?
Yep.
Because there's so many different realms, not
Exactly.
just one thing. Oh, it's only motocross.
Yep.
Exactly.
And I listen to so many podcasts, and that's another reason why I want you to have one because I listen to so many, but there's still room for more. I still get to the end of my workday, and I'm like, fuck, I wish there was one more to listen to.
Yeah. Huh.
And again, you're somebody that I will be stoked every time you post one because, again, I don't, is RYNO going to be talking about technique today?
Yeah.
Or is RYNO going to be talking about a crazy fucking story he had in, 1990, Like, either way, I want to hear.
For me, I don't really watch much podcasts. I don't really read many books anymore.
Right.
I just
limited on technology.
No, it's just I don't even own it. I don't even own a laptop.
That's what I'm saying. You don't.
I'm
in the moment.
Yeah, I'm in the moment. I'm in my own I'm in my own head.
Realm.
But just I'm not borrowing anybody else's thoughts.
Yep.
I'm not borrowing anybody else's ideas. I want my own. I want to be authentic and unique, because life only makes one of a kinds. It makes unique individuals, not duplicates.
Yep.
Right.
And all duplicates are ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what everybody's trying to be a duplicate of something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not that exciting to me.
No.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, that's good shit, man. I really, like I said, I really do hope that you start one, and if there's anything I can do to help to make that happen, I'm more than happy to do so. We appreciate the hell out of you coming on and spending your time with
Thank
us.
you.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
So
thank you. I'd love to, like I say, for me, 100,000 viewers, 10,000 viewers, 1,000 viewers.
Who gives
it
a
doesn't
shit?
matter to me. I'd love to share.
I enjoy talking to you.
I love to share, and you never know when that person is going to be listening.
Yep.
Exactly.
And, and like I ever tell everybody, put what I say, you can put it in your pocket, throw it in the trash. no problem to me, bud.
Right.
No problem to me. You'll never change me.
Yeah.
Love it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
We
So
love it, man. We
Good
appreciate
shit.
it.
Yeah.
We thank everybody for listening. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Like, throw us a comment. Let us know what you want to hear, and if you think we're doing a good job or not. If you don't, let us know.
If you like us, cool. If you hate us, cool.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah,
Let us
yeah.
know.
No, yeah.
Let us know.
Exactly.
We do have the movie coming out. Boy is real close to finishing parts, I hope.
Merch should be out soon.
Merch is coming out soon. Be on the lookout for that. We have a lot of stuff coming. Ryno, thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
guys.
you.
Appreciate
Peace.
it. Yeah.
We're out.
Awesome.
I got to fucking piss.
Yeah, no.